Where are the low value men? Like, what are all the low value men up to during these trying times? Because the high value men, I know they're around. They won't shut the fuck up. Low value men, I have not heard a word out of. I'm starting to think I'm on their side. I think I want one of those. I want a low value man. They don't make podcasts. I haven't seen one low value man make a podcast. Do they not know how to use microphones? Maybe that's a good thing. That's hot. All right, I've never seen a man use a microphone for good.
Until now, everybody buckle up. It's low value mail time with your host, Danny Polishchuk. Okay, welcome back, everybody, to an all-new episode. Low value mail. Looks like I need a haircut based off of whatever's going on here. Welcome back, everybody. Exciting episode we have our monthly. I've been trying to make a point of doing a monthly open lines. Those have been going pretty well. People have been liking them. I've been enjoying talking to you about whatever it is, this and that. So welcome back to our, cut off my hand there. But welcome back, everybody, to an all-new episode. It's episode 93 of Low Value Mail. On this Tuesday, January 30th, 2024, the year of our Lord. I actually believe maybe next week may be our 2-year anniversary. I think, and the lines are already ringing off. Just give me 1 minute, and then I will answer your calls. I know I had the thing going. Okay, I'll close this because you guys are you're so quick to get to the gun. So, before we get started, let me check this, though. I think next week is 2 years. Hold on. I should have done this in advance, some would say. Some would say I need a producer, some would say. I've actually been speaking with John Steele, for those of you who are in the know. That didn't help me. I don't know. Okay, it's something like that, though. Anyways, please like and subscribe to the stream. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe. All that stuff. Some minor changes are coming to the show, okay? I don't want to hear no guff from none of you. It's not going to really affect most of you, especially the supporters of the show. But Vincent gifted 5 low-value mail memberships. What a man. I'll be giving some away today as well. You're going to all have members. Shout out. Yeah, so by the way, okay, so there's so many things I want to get out of my head. First off, the changes that are coming to the show. It's not actually really real changes. So the way YouTube is working these days, I live stream here on YouTube. The way YouTube's working these days is they give way more priority to videos that are video uploads versus live streams. So, and I toyed with this like a month ago. I tested it out. I did one like this and with the Ashton Forbes episode. So anyways, moving forward, the live streams are the live. If you catch it live, you catch it live. That's the live show. After the show ends, the stream will be privated. This includes Low Value Mail and the Bathhouse for both of them, okay? Then the episodes will be posted, and there's a few reasons behind this, but the new episodes of Low Value Mail, if you don't catch them live, you will be able to watch them. If you are not a paying supporter, just a regular person, just a fucking rego. Anyways, those episodes will be available Thursday afternoon for Low Value Mail. Thursday afternoon, New York City time, probably like 12 o'clock Thursday. Saturday afternoon for the Bathhouse. So there'll be basically a 2-day delay from the live stream, like 36 hours roughly between the live stream and you can check it on Spotify or if you're a listener of the podcast, that's where you'll get it. So it'll be out Thursday now or Saturday for the Bathhouse. And this is mostly just because YouTube is kind of forcing my hand because I get way more reach and I'm trying to grow the show, as you can understand and get. So anyways, doing that. But if you are a paid supporter of the show, because I'm always trying to, I'll be perfectly honest. I love that you guys support the show. I appreciate it. But I don't feel like I offer you don't get a lot in return. because of the nature of the live show. I can't if this was a normal podcast like we do with the Boys Cast, I can just give you an extra episode. That doesn't work with a live show. So if you are a paid supporter, you will have access to the ad-free audio episodes and the YouTube video right away. So not right away, but like within a couple hours, you will have it. So just a little something if you've been on the fence about signing up. Now you at least get the episodes earlier. Otherwise, they will be Thursday and Saturday. 2-day delay for the non-scrotes, as Vincent says. Shout out to Anthony Rojas for that. But anyways, just want to let you know, it's not really a big deal. I'm sure a lot of you, maybe you do listen to it right away. And if you've been on the fence about supporting the show, and if you support the show, then there will be more show eventually. Because basically once we hit 500 subscribers, I'm adding half an hour, and we've been stuck on this for like a fucking year. We're around 3 and change, although it helps every time Vincent gives away 5. So anyways, that's it. And then eventually one day we'll get this will be a 4-hour show, and we will get a producer. Okay. That's all I wanted to say regarding that. Next week, we have, which potentially is the 2-year anniversary of the show, we have Randy Walsh. He wrote a bunch of books regarding the moon landing hoax. He'll be here next week. That would be very exciting. And new episode of The Bathhouse tomorrow night at 10:30 p.m. live from the Stand Comedy Club Green Room. Okay, so that is that. The phone lines are now open. This will be a monthly show where we have open phone lines. What do you want to talk about? I know some of you were not happy last week that I brought a goddamn Fed on the show. I thought it'd be cool. Look, okay, it's not always Kalergi. Am I going to Skankfest? I have no idea if I'm going to Skankfest. I don't know. But anyways, yes. And so if I owe you a wrench, if you see all the people with the wrenches, if I owe you a wrench, the only reason would be to DM me on Patreon if you don't have it, or Twitter if you're a Twitter subscriber. So just message me there. Yeah, and then you can just DM me right now. I have it open, and then I'll give you your wrench if I owe you a wrench. Wrenches just let you drop links in the after shows when we do those. We'll do about an after show once a month. All right, first caller of the night. Let's get to it. Hello. Thanks for calling Low Value Mail.
Hi, this is Thomas from Michigan.
Thomas from Michigan. How you doing, pal? What do you want to talk about?
I'm doing good. Pretty new supporter. Just discovered the podcast via you're in Ryan's podcast, but cool. I've been a huge fan. The topic with the FBI agent last week.
Yes. What did you think?
You made a comment. It was good. I enjoyed it. I'm somewhat in line with the why you bringing the Fed on.
Yeah. Like here's the thing. Okay, I'll give you the full breakdown of my thoughts about bringing him on. I was on TikTok. I saw his TikTok. He has like 300,000 followers on TikTok, which actually now in hindsight, and he has like 200,000 followers on Instagram. Like in hindsight, I'm like, that seems something doesn't quite add up. They're kind of interesting, like he does, but he's like, he told me, he's like, yeah, I've had social media for 9 months. And so that's pretty impressive. Shout out to Logan. But anyways, so he's like, I've had social media for 9 months. He already has like bigger followings than like most of my comedian friends who have been doing it for a fucking decade. But anyways, I just thought, I'm like, it would be cool to just ask him. And I kind of told him, I go, yo, look, like I don't screen calls. And he goes, yeah, fine. Like it's whatever. But it was kind of, I didn't really think it that through, that how many like anti-establishment, like anti-government people probably watch the show. But then I'm like, you know what? It's one episode. So, yeah.
Yeah. So there was kind of two things. One was regarding Patriot Front, because this actually might've been a tweet, or maybe it was a comment last show. I can't remember, but about them, whether they're feds or not. The one thing that really sticks out to me with them is their website. I think their website's way too nice for an organization.
Have you been in their Telegram group though? Here's the thing. This is my main reason why I think Patriot Front is real. Because if you go in their Telegram group, which you can, they have 17,500 followers. Like it just seems like pretty legit. But again, I fully believe that there are feds in Patriot Front. I think the question is, did the federal government start Patriot Front? And that's where I think I disagree with people. I don't think that the federal government started it.
Yeah, I'm just really impressed with their website, I guess. Like, because I compare it to, like, you look up, like, Oathbreakers or whatever, these other groups, and a lot of them don't even have a website at all. So with Patriot Fund, if they are 100% legit, it's pretty impressive.
What's their website? I can't even find it. It's patriotfront.us.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, it's better than my company's website, in my opinion.
It's a pretty solid website, actually. I'm looking at it, patriotfront.us. Yeah, like, again... I find it so funny that nobody believes they're real, because they're probably like, we really are just these patriots and we just want to restore America for, like, you know, European white people or whatever the fuck. But, you know, and like their videos on their website is all like working out and doing like community service and stuff. Like, it's hardly, you know, some scary group, but I guess have certain parts that they don't like. I don't know. But again,
for sure, there's certainly probably most of the people I'm sure are just normal people. But
yeah, they're just like,
yeah, I just thought it was funny that they had such a nice website. I'm like, because I feel like it's fairly, unless you got somebody who's really good at programming, you have to put a decent amount of money into putting together something like that.
But again, because they all cover their faces, I'm sure there's someone who's just like, that's what they do. You know, they're like, there's probably someone who's just like a web designer and.
That's fair. And then there was one other thing I wanted to mention, and then I can jump off. There's other people waiting, but I'm forgetting his name, but the FBI agent last week, he made a comment that I thought was super. I thought it was super interesting, which was regarding the sovereign citizens. He made a comment like we needed something to do, basically. So you know, we had a lack of cases, so we decided to go after him.
Oh yeah,
I thought that was interesting, because I think in general that's the biggest problem with stuff like the FBI is they're hammered. They need a nail to hit. So you kind of end up getting stuff like the Whitmer case, where
absolutely
seems a little bit like entrapment, at least for most of them. You know,
I mean, I think that's actually any government organization. Really, like anything where there's government budgets, because those budgets never go down. Like, they can only really go one way. Like, the worst case scenario is they don't go up, but they stay the same. And then, but oftentimes they're always like, okay, well, we need these things to continue to go up. And then sometimes they're like, you just got to like manufacture expenses just to keep it going.
Right. Yeah, I know one guy who's a FBI agent who actually was involved with the with that case.
You know him personally?
So, yeah, I'm not like super well, but yeah, I know. He might even testified. I'm not sure, but
I'm actually. I've been meaning to get. I can't remember what the guy's name is. I talked about it a couple weeks ago, but one of the guys who was arrested but exonerated. I'm going to try and get him, because I know he's been doing podcasts and stuff.
That would be fascinating.
Yeah. I'm gonna get him on. I wrote his name down somewhere. I'm sure someone in the chat knows, but he's like kind of looks like kind of a bikery dude. But anyways, I'm gonna message him once I figure out who exactly his name is.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, appreciate it, man. Thanks for calling it.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. We got another call. Hello. Thanks for calling.
What's up, Danny?
Yo. What's up?
How's it going, conspiracy extremist?
Conspiracy extremist. How you doing, man?
Doing good. Doing well.
Very good. Very good. You called in last week, right, with the FBI agent?
No, I didn't.
Oh, you didn't.
I didn't know. Me and my buddy started a podcast a couple months ago, and we record on Tuesdays. So I've been missing like the second half. I've tried to catch your live low value mail show, but
you just got it. That's okay.
Get out a little bit, but
yeah, I'm curious because there was a point where I go, should I not brought this guy on? But then I was like, no, it's still kind of funny that I somehow got an FBI agent on my show.
Yeah, why not? I mean,
why not? He seemed fairly even-handed. Like, he obviously wasn't going to be like, yeah, we fucking killed JFK and saying all this like crazy shit, but he was fairly like even-handed, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't trust anything he says, but it's not going to hurt to have him on. Like,
no. Zach in the chat says, I think the NFL is real. Actually, Zach tried to, as this guy, Brian Tuahy, who I've been trying to get on, and I wanted to get him on next week in advance of the Super Bowl. This guy's whole thing is the NFL is rigged. And I mean, it does feel that way a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Totally, yeah. I believe it's not like scripted every play.
That's
but
not script. Like, it's not scripted. That's like, no. It's not like that shit with the scripted or whatever. It's not scripted. And it's not like, I can't remember which, I think the podcast that Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett do. I don't know if you've seen that. I can't remember what it's called, but I see it all the time. But they were just talking about how they were playing like, the Lakers or something. And their coach was like, hey, you got to win. Like, if we're going to win, we have to win by like 20 points. Like, we're not going to win a close game against them just because. And it's with the same thing with the Tim Donaghy, like the ref who like went to jail or whatever for fixing games. Just like the NBA can so easily, or the leagues can so easily with just like little directives, just put enough of their like thumbs on the scale to just like slightly give one team an advantage or not.
Yeah, that's really, they're all so good that all they need is a little bias from the refs and stuff to win the game.
Yeah, exactly. And all they could do something as little as like, because they give every week, they'll be like, hey, we need to like enforce this type of call. And if they know that the team that is, one of the teams is more prone to do that thing, and then they just are like, hey, enforce this more. And so anyways, Zach says NFL rigged. Yeah. I don't know like to the extent, but definitely, I mean, look, it's at the end of the day, all these leagues are a business. Like every single league, as much as you think it's like, you feel it's like the government or something, like some sort of like utility, like it's literally like a business, and they're not stupid. Like they know, they know what's going to make the money, like what outcome is going to make the money and not make the money. And I mean, look, like, yeah, the Ravens Lions would have been okay. I'm sure it would have had 20 million less viewers than KC San Francisco, though.
Yep. Yeah. And when you get the betting organizations involved, I mean, they just own everything.
Yeah. It's, I've been trying to like, I haven't really figured out, I'm trying to like think of a joke or something about it, but like, it is so crazy how they went from full on gambling is the worst thing. It like, even just considering it will impact, like the stability and the, just like trustworthiness of the league. And then all of a sudden they're just like, it's fucking part of the whole thing now. Like gambling is part of every, like, is the part of the fabric of every broadcast now. It's like the announcers talk about it. Like, it's so crazy because they've acted forever. Like, remember they couldn't have any teams in Las Vegas. Now inside of 6 years, they're going to have every team but a basketball team, I guess now, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I want to tell you something freaking hilarious.
Yes.
So I don't really watch that Timcast show that much anymore, unless they have people like you or people that I follow on. But last night I was watching it, and at the end, how you read those super chats. Mm-hmm. One of the super chats he read said, "Everyone, go find it and watch Europa: The Last Battle." Tim goes, "What is that about immigration? Immigration in Europe?"
Yeah, you know what? I tried to watch it one time. Honestly, I'm not even gonna lie. That is on my list of things to watch. I can't believe how long it is. It's fucking 11 hours. It's like the longest.
I think I've gotten through the whole thing, and it's not like egregious. It's basically just like alternative, the opposite of the narrative. Like,
I know. And there's another thing on Rumble that I also tried to watch, which was like essentially there's some documentary that's like the Germans were essentially like the victims of World War II, and like it's like a total like it's similar to this, but it's shorter. I remember like I just lost it because Rumble's like bad at. It's hard to like find stuff that you like watched previously, like history or whatever. But anyways, yeah, it's I tried to watch it one time. I was thinking like last year, I was like, should I do like a fucking watch along, like a live stream watch along? But then I'm just like, man, I'm totally gonna lose my channel.
You could start like, and if you ever watch it, you don't even have to watch the first like couple parts, the first couple hours. You could start, because it's just talking about World War I in the first.
Yeah, but I feel like that context is somewhat relevant, I think, to what they're trying to do. By the way, I got my Instagram account back, everybody, in case anybody cares.
Yeah, I saw that. Congratulations.
Yeah, I got it back. So that's exciting. But yeah, I'm not trying to lose my fucking YouTube channel.
Yeah, I wouldn't. You can't have that on YouTube, even though there's nothing like crazy on it.
Like, I don't even know if I could do like a fight companion style where I'm just watching it off screen. Like, I feel like that might be even a little spicy for.
Yeah, it's
YouTube.
not even,
I guess
doesn't even say anything that crazy, but when you talk about, the event, that happened.
What's the main, like, if you had to
people-
give me like a TLDR of Europa, the last battle or whatever, is that what it's called?
Yeah, Europa lost. So from what I remember, it's basically saying like they were just trying to rebuild after World War I, and their leader was, making it flourish, and then basically all these other countries wanted to destroy it for, I forget the reason they say, but basically it's like they need to destroy Germany because it was doing so well.
Mm-hmm.
It's not as silly as I'm making it sound. I mean, they do have an explanation
Yeah, I'm
for it.
I'm sure they do. And
it's more like they're the victims, and that event like didn't really happen like you were being told.
Sure.
Which, I think it was war, so it doesn't matter. Like, I don't know, my opinion, it doesn't matter who did what. A lot of people died. So it's,
yeah.
I mean, it's bad either way.
There's very bad people on both sides.
Yeah. People died, and that's terrible.
Yeah,
War is
exactly.
awful.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I'll get that'll be a tough one to convince my girl to watch. I don't think she has the attention span for 11 hours.
Yeah, well, I just listened to it while I was at work. So
yeah. That'll be a funny, like, maybe kind of TikTok prank is like get your girl to be like for movie night, watch a Europa.
Are you married yet? No.
No. No, in June.
Right on.
End of June, yeah.
That's awesome, man. That's great.
Coming up.
She's Jewish too, right?
She's also Jewish. She's actually the first Jewish woman I ever dated, and then somehow.
I was meant to.
I always kind of made a point to avoid them. To be honest, they're fucking annoying, and she is.
I mean, can you blame you?
She's pretty annoying, actually. So. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
It's just shit works out that way sometimes, I guess.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's else jump out. It was nice talking, man.
Appreciate it.
Next time.
Yeah.
Later.
Conspiracy extremist, everybody. Yeah. We're not going to. I see a lot of tunnel talk in the chat. We are not, Zach, going to watch Europa. Maybe next Christmas. By the way, phone lines are open. I see some people asking if they can call in. You can call in. Also, shout out to anybody who's watching over on Rumble. The reason we started late is because I accidentally made the wrong Rumble link. And then it did not. It was because for some reason, when you have a Rumble account, you just have two accounts. I don't know why. Hello. Thanks for calling Low Value Mail.
And then for some reason,
Hey, I can hear myself.
Why?
Hello.
Oh, hey, sorry. I thought there must be a delay.
Yeah, I think there's a little delay.
Yeah,
How's it going? Who am I speaking with?
I turned the speakers off.
Okay.
Anyway, my name is Guy, calling in from Tel Aviv, Israel.
Guy from Tel Aviv, Israel. Low value mail's going international. Sound like Alex Stein there.
Can you believe it? It's 4:30 in the a.m. over here.
4:30 in the a.m. So we got some. What is going on right now in Tel Aviv, Israel? Because I actually have been thinking recently. I don't know if it's people are tired, like if just you can only care so much about something that's not happening. I feel like Ukraine, Russia got more play than Israel, Palestine. Because it used to be just all anybody was fucking posting about. My whole Twitter was nonstop. And I can't tell if people kind of just tuckered themselves out like a little toddler or what, but I barely see anybody talking about it anymore. And I don't see much news coverage. And I wonder if that's like, I wonder why. I don't know why. So anyways.
Well, I'll tell you, there's been I follow a lot of accounts that, both cover the Ukraine and Israel. And it's definitely, there's a lot of stuff going on, on Twitter and like certain Telegram channels regarding the situation over here. But, what's happened recently, until yesterday, there has not been a rocket strike, on pretty much Israel or Tel Aviv up until from New Year's Eve. Like was the last time they sent rockets over. It happened at exactly midnight. I'm telling you, I was one of the only people not partying. So at the same time that you hear people like it's midnight, everybody's cheering.
Yeah.
The exact fucking sorry, I didn't curse there. The exact second you hear sirens going off, the air raid sirens, and people partying can't hear the air raid sirens because they're blasting music so loud. And so while everybody's cheering, there's all the sounds of explosions, and like people cheering at the same time. And it was to me, it was like a moment of like the big cognitive dissonance. But I think partially why.
Yeah. And so just sorry to cut you off. So you're talking about what's happening in Israel, right? So you're saying there hasn't been any rocket attacks into Israel. What's happening in Gaza? Because there's not a lot of coming out from that either.
I know what's happening in Gaza. There's plenty of people covering that. I mean, you had Ryan Dawson on your channel.
Yeah.
And there, and then, he covers that, and Scott Ritter and Judge Napolitano, Max Blumenthal. A lot of people are.
No, sorry. I just want to just say, like, I meant just like the main, and again, I don't know, because some people would say, the mainstream media like just doesn't want you to know what's going on there because it looks bad for Israel, just to play the other side of that or whatever. And so they're just like, but to just stop, like, I just don't see, like, all my regular, like, Mike Racine, I don't know if people know Mike Racine, very funny comedian. He was like all about this for 2 months. And then I looked the other day, he doesn't even tweet about it anymore.
Well, I guess maybe because I live here, I'm following, and the accounts that I follow on, Twitter are all like, either Red Pill Intersectional Dynamics channels or like, channels like, Ryan Dawson, Scott Ritter, and so on that cover these topics. And, I think I don't like, being that I'm not in the U.S., I don't really, I follow, like, I watch Louder with Crowder pretty regularly. And I remember when this thing was just like, before he went on break, he was talking about it a lot. But I think, like, listen, what I got to explain something that just happened recently that may be why it died down is that, like, Israel did, cause, like, it did quiet, because, like I said, like, there were no missile strikes for, like, almost a month up until, yesterday. What happened, right? So, like, Israel, like, kind of started pulling out, and Hamas took back the north, and then they, a lot of places in the north, and then they start firing rockets again, because Israel has barely damaged Hamas in any sense. They've, slaughtered tens of thousands of civilians, but they haven't really slaughtered, done much with Hamas. And so I think it's like, because Israel, like the country, probably because we haven't been impacted on this side with like rocket strikes and like, like it was like every day, multiple times a day, air raid sirens and running into shelters. And then it goes to silence. And so there's no like drama happening on the Israeli side. So there's probably like a lot less broadcast of like, of news to go out. They don't really want to broadcast what's going on in Gaza because that's, not.
Which I think is kind of like I feel like that was at least for a minute dominating news, specifically like the, horrific shit that was going on in Gaza. So you're from America? You're born in America?
Oh yeah, I'm a dual citizen. My mother's Israeli.
Your mother's Israeli. So you're not like right of return. You're just, your mother is Israeli. And so why did you choose to live in Israel?
Yeah. What's that?
Why do you choose to live in Israel versus the United States?
You know what? It's a damn good question, and it's something I've been questioning a lot lately. I moved here in 2008, and it was from, just like some life situation where it was just like better for me to move here than there, and it was nothing political. And my like I don't have any living family in the U.S. anymore. My mother lives here. All my family lives here. And so I moved here in 2008, and I just like, I guess it got comfortable in a sense. But like, honestly, like right now, one of the things that, keeps me here, believe me, I'm not a Zionist. It's nothing like, political or whatever. But like, I've kept in touch with a friend of mine in the U.S. I left in 2008, and we talk fairly regularly. And the stuff that I see in the media and all the woke craziness that has, grown in the U.S., like, it's just a fraction of that here. Like all this like non-binary gender bending stuff and like, like, and the amount of division, like, that's happen in the U.S. between like people with differing opinions. My friend tells me you can't even have a conversation with somebody if you have differing opinions, and and that things that go into it like explosive, like shouting matches and all these kind of things. It's just like I don't want to deal with the woke aspect of things. I can't imagine what it would be like for me to walk into a Starbucks and have to read pronouns on a name tag.
I mean, to be honest though, like you can, that's like, where were you from in the US? Like you can just move to fucking somewhere in Central Florida or even like Miami or whatever. Like there's a lot of like, I live in New York City. People would say this is the most liberal. Like I don't use pronouns. Like that's the thing is like people have pronouns. They talk about it. Like even if someone does have pronouns, if I ever knew anybody who's like, these are my preferred pronouns, from now on, I call you by your first name. I refer to you by your first name for the rest of your fucking life. And that's it. There's like, the pronouns is over. Like if you go, these are my preferred pronouns or these wacky pronouns, I call you by your first name for the rest of your life. And that's it.
That's like a good system.
So
I grew up in New York City and I left New York City for Austin, Texas in 2004. And I left Austin, Texas in 2008. And the friend that I was speaking about, he lives in Austin, Texas. And if I returned, I would probably return back to Austin.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned Miami, and my friend who lives in Austin, he's the one who's telling me about this stuff. So, like, if it's like, can it be better than in Austin in Florida? I mean,
Florida's the shit. Like, if there was a comedy scene in Florida, I would live in Florida.
Oh, seriously?
Oh, for sure.
And why is it that you choose New York City over Austin, like both you and Ryan?
The comedy scene is still not one. There's no podcast scene in Austin. There's not like there's just no podcast scene. Like you can do Kill Tony, and like that's really about it. Like Rogan and Kill Tony, I guess Matt and Shane now or whatever. But like, there's not like a really built out full podcast scene. It'll get there eventually. But in terms of stand up, you're like, just the stand up is just you can't compare it to New York.
Like New York, like this, legendary for comedy, and
it's just for stand up.
Like Joe Rogan has started his comedy club, but you probably need to be like in with him to get on
exactly. Like if you're Ron White, then you're like, or Tom Segura, and you can get tons of stage time. But like for us to move there, it wouldn't, it would probably be a step in the temporarily in the wrong direction. Right. So I want to talk more about this Israel stuff. So you kind of follow a lot of these. So you're not a Zionist. You're
no.
What were your feelings about the Israeli government before this started? Because it sounds like you're probably leaning right. So.
Yeah. So like, I want to explain something. In Israel, right versus left is different from like the rest of the world. So like in the rest of the world, right versus left, if you're on the right, then you're like, believe in like free market capitalism and like, hierarchical governing. And on the left, it's like no hierarchy and like what do you call it? Communitarianism, right?
Like communism.
Over here, yeah. Well, I mean, yes, pretty much. And the ultimate extension of that is communism. Yeah.
Okay. And, I've never heard that term, communitarianism.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's really you pretty much hit the nail on the head. Like it's just like kind of a more fancy word for communism, but like or a more socially acceptable word for communism. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay.
I have like I'm an anarchist. I have anarchist friends who are like on the left and like they use that term. And if I'm around them, whatever, I don't want to like communist has such a offensive kind of connotation to it that
right.
like it just. Whatever, it's just a prettier word,
right? But so anyway, so back to this. So with the Israeli government, so you're probably on the right. You are on the right. The government is, I guess you're saying that's not like a traditionally conservative government. But wasn't there like huge protests?
There are huge protests here every week. Every week, pretty much on the same day. There are huge protests. But the thing is, most people are like, they're protesting Netanyahu, who is a monster. I mean, I think he's a horrible person. And people both on the left and the right, it's like he's not like he's becoming less and less popular even amongst those on the right, you know.
Right. And it's just because of his handling of the war. Do they talk about, is there discussion in Israel about?
It's not merely because of his handling of the war. This started before his handling of the war. I don't know if you know about this, but he was brought up on 3 charges of
he had all these like
bribery.
Right. Yeah, I know that. So, but in regards to the October 7th thing, do people talk about how like he could have potentially, like, is that theory still exists where he potentially let it happen? Like, how much do they talk about the origins of the October 7th stuff still?
So that he let it happen, I'll tell you, it's like, if people aren't like super conspiracy minded here, there's certainly, listen, I've spoken about it with some of my friends, and it's certainly like, I even called Scott Ritter's show about it to ask him what he thought the plausibility of that was. But like, you know, I could totally see that being a possibility. But like, it's not.
But that's not
really
something people are talking about
like,
there.
Yeah, if anything, it's like, you know, like, did he do enough, or
people think he's not doing enough?
No. Did he do enough in regard, like, why was the security lax enough to allow that to happen in the first place? Not what he did after. It's like, you know, how did this happen? So like, there's those of us who think it was intentional, and then, you know, those who think that it was just like, you know, like how could this possibly have even happened? Right. You know, like why didn't he fortify it enough? That's what I meant by that.
Yeah, okay. And so, what's the general the general kind of not consensus, but like how are people feeling about what's going on, like the response by Israel currently? Like,
well, it's really, I'll say that the majority of people are, you know, Zionists, and they are for the actions taking place in Gaza. They're not fully aware of what's going on in Gaza, but
like, is that stuff on the news there? Like, is that stuff, you know, when they go and?
Of course. I mean, the standard, what you would expect from the news is on the news here. I don't watch the news here.
Right. But does any of the stuff that you see happening online, do you see much of that on the news? I guess that would be the same here.
Oh, no. You whatever it is, it's like peppered with, you know, like, just twisted to fit the narrative.
Right.
You know, you're not going to get at the reality of the situation with this from the mainstream media. It's just whatever to keep people pacified and, you know, create like the division that they can control, kind of thing. You know?
Yeah. And so we'll wrap this up in a bit, but let me, so Ryan Dawson obviously is a pretty anti-Israel guy. You you follow a lot of these anti-Israel accounts, but you live in Israel. Like, I can't imagine you're like a one-state solution, like river to the sea guy.
So here's the thing. I would either be 2-state solution or 1-state solution, and that 1-state solution being getting rid of the Jewish characteristic of the state and making it a full-on democracy where everyone has completely equal rights and you know, no segregation of any kind.
And when you say, sorry, just to cut you, I just need some clarity. When you say everybody has rights, you just mean for the people in Gaza and the West Bank?
I mean, within the Arabs, within.
But aren't there many Arabs like in the Knesset and many Arab Israelis who have equal rights?
Yes, there are, but like, here's the thing, like, you can, if you walk down any, and this even before this situation happened, walk down, you know, any street in Tel Aviv, you will see Arabs being pulled over by the police and being, you know, checked for like whatever, you know, the bombs or weapons or whatever. I walk down the street. No police officer ever stopped me to check me for weapons. You know what I'm saying?
And it's just like a random stop and frisk kind of thing.
Exactly.
And that could be be like a Arab Israeli. Like that could be someone with an Israeli passport who is just speaking Arabic.
Yeah. They're only Arab Israelis. These are the only ones I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And so, you know, and I would include in the one state solution, I would include Gaza and like, you know, and the West Bank and I don't even care if they call it Israel. They can call it Palestine, Disneyland, Pizza Hut, whatever. Like, you know, but like get rid of the Jewish characteristic of the state, because like you can't, you know, like it's I don't know if you're familiar with Rabbi Kahana, but like, you know, he was a very pro-Zionist, very, very far right, and I mean far right in the Israeli political sense, where that, like, you know, like you can't call this place it's a schizophrenic to call this place a democracy, but at the same time, like, you say that the characteristic of the state is Jewish when you have other people living here. You know,
but aren't there, just to push back on that, but aren't there countries whose characteristics would be like Christian nations? Like, you know.
Well, you see, the difference is everybody in America considers themselves an American.
Right.
And if you live in Israel and you're an Arab, you don't really consider yourself an Israeli, even if you have Israeli citizenship.
Right.
So
you're still,
like,
you're just like you kind of just like take it, and because you get all these benefits from it, but you probably don't like it.
Well, because it's your only option.
It's your only option to just be part of the society.
And
as you go, okay, I'll take it, but you're like not really. Yeah, that makes sense to me.
You also have to take into account, what does Jewish mean, right? What separates Jews from the rest of the world? What is the defining characteristic of a
poor
Jew?
Vertical leap.
What's that?
I said poor vertical leap. Bad at jumping.
It's the Torah, right?
Yeah.
So it's a religion, and if you look at the Jewish religion, right, which most Jews don't follow, including myself, but I'm very well educated in it. I spent a lot of time studying it. There's no democracy in Judaism. If you go to according to rabbinic Judaism, right? Like, Jews are superior to the goyim, quote unquote. You know, it's like there's certain things that a Jew is afforded, which are not afforded to the rest of the people within the Jewish structure of society.
Right. Gotcha. Whereas, to
say Israel is both a Jewish state and a democracy is a total contradiction. It doesn't make any sense.
Right. Now, okay, last question before I let you go. If they were to do a 2-state or 1-state solution, would you have any fear? Do you think that the risk level would be elevated if they were to do that?
No, absolutely not. I think the risk level would go way, way down.
Really? So if they go, hey, we're just gonna bring everybody together, essentially, whether it's 1-state or 2-state. I guess those would still be different, but because a lot of people say, you know, if we give them all this stuff, then they're just going to be firing rockets. You know, we didn't need an iron dome for a reason.
No, I tell you why that wouldn't happen. First off, let's say Hamas, like the Palestinians got their own state, right? They would need backing from the whole world to help them get that established, right? Like the UN, everybody would have to be involved, right? Mm-hmm. Now, consider how retarded it would be for them to get that state, to get all that backing from the entire world, and for the sake of peace, and then to start another attack. They would get the rug pulled from under them, and then there would be no mercy on, and pretty much everybody would destroy them.
I guess that would be their last. That would be literally their last chance. Like if they did that, then they go, okay, you guys are just fucking hopeless.
You have to also understand that like Arabs do not inherently hate Jews. I live in Jaffa, which is like the most mixed area of Tel Aviv, and we get along just great with each other.
Yeah.
It's not like there's this they're born with this hatred for Jews. The Hamas and the Palestinians hate Zionists. They don't hate us as people, So it's I do totally believe. Listen, there might be some bitterness or something left over.
Yeah, I'm not talking about. I'm talking about literal national security threats, because that's what they'll bring up. They'll say, "Oh, this is impossible," because
I think that security threat would go down. It would solve so much. We would not be in the predicament we're in now. the predicament we're in right now. We're looking at fucking we're on the border with Lebanon right now, getting prepared for war with Hezbollah. When they're more armed, much more armed and better armed with a much stronger arsenal than Hamas has.
Yeah.
So if they start raining rockets down on us, this may be my last phone call with you ever.
Dude, I hope this isn't. I hope this is not your last phone call. But on that note, I am going to let you go. What was your name again? Guy. Okay, Guy, thank you for calling in. I really appreciate it. It's good to get some actual information from somebody who's on the ground there. So appreciate it, man. Take care.
Yeah, and get Rollo Tomasi on Boys Cat.
Okay. We'll try. Later, man. All right, Guy, everybody. Very interesting. Very interesting stuff. Hello.
Hey.
Hey, you were on Low Value Mail. Who am I speaking with?
My name is Steve.
Steve, how you doing, pal? What do you want to talk about?
Hey, so I have a question about this Metzitzah Bupa.
Yes.
Could you explain that to me?
So I have a joke about it because I used to have a joke about it. It's I actually think I may be the first comedian who did a joke about this, but unfortunately when I did it in Canada, so nobody gave a shit. But it's on my first album. But essentially there's like these super fringe sects of Judaism. Like I guess the closest thing would be to what are like the God hates fags people, like the Westboro Baptist Church. You know them?
Okay.
So it's like, imagine like the Westboro Baptist Church of Christians. So they're not really representing of Christians, but they're like, we're Christians. And, even though they're like this crazy and they do, when they do a circumcision in their mind, they're like, you gotta, like to remove the blood, you have to suck the blood. And then in New York City, some of the rabbis were giving the fucking kids herpes. Like, so there was like babies getting herpes. Like a 2-week-old baby was getting herpes. And then some of the babies died of herpes.
Right.
That was actually part of my joke. Now that I remember, it just came to me. But so anyways, that first came out, I want to say I was doing that joke like it must have been close to 10 years ago. So this must have come out like 12 years ago-ish. The first time I'd ever heard of this. And it was from New York, because I don't know if they even do it outside of New York, to be honest. It might be specifically like I don't know if it's the tunneling Jews. It's the same type of Jew, but it's some type of Jew here. I don't know where they fucking read that. But anyways, it's very uncommon. And I would guess, I mean, it should be illegal. Like it should literally be like really illegal. And I think the city of New York was trying to like get them to stop, but the fucking rabbis, like some of these rabbis, they're so like just hard-headed. They live in their just own planet. Like I think I was talking to someone and they were saying Ari Shafir was talking about like the Orthodox Jews here, and everybody's like saying, oh man, they're so strange. But he's like, they don't even know you exist. Like, they don't think about other people. You might as well be like a lamppost or something, or like a dog. They're like, they do not even think about you or consider you. Like, they're just like living in their world. So anyways, yeah, it is fucking crazy. Like, it's insane, but it's quite rare.
So is it still legal?
I believe it is still legal. I think the city of New York, what's it called? Metzitzah. It's so funny. It comes up right away. I think the city of New York, like if you search it, the first thing that comes up is a New York City website. It's nyc.gov, like their health thing. And it's about it. Cause like, I don't know if it happens anywhere other than this, but I mean, again, insane that, I mean, it's probably been going on for a long time, but yeah, it's these rabbis have fucking herpes on their mouth, and then they give babies herpes. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think the herpes are the biggest problem going on there.
I mean, but some of the babies literally die of herpes. It's like kids have like died from, I guess, like if you give a baby herpes, like it's not the same as like getting it when you're 20 or some shit. Like you can die from it.
Right.
Yeah. So.
It says that there's some religious authorities consider direct oral suctioning the only acceptable way to draw blood away from the circumcision. What do you think inspired that?
Something like 2,000 years ago? I don't fucking know. I mean, it's not something recent, that's for sure. None of this stuff is based, like, it's the same reason why Jews don't eat pork, or like, it's because they had like trichinosis because there was no refrigeration, or shellfish or all that stuff. You're like, yeah, it probably was like a good rule of thumb 1,000 years ago or 2,000 years ago to not eat pork and shellfish, because probably you did get super ill and but now you're like, who cares? It doesn't matter anymore. But they're not really adapting with the times. They like to, they're as conservative as it gets in that they want to just, keep whatever they're doing. But I have no idea where that shit came from. Again, just because I'm Jewish, I am not a topic on this, although I was probably the first comedian to talk about this. I would say something. Oh, did I lose the audio? What's going on here? Anyways. That's it though. Anyways, yeah, that's it. Hello?
Yeah, that was my only question.
Okay.
I've just been wondering about that.
Yeah, I got a call. I wasn't sure if I was having an issue with my audio, but yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know where it came from. I imagine if it's ultra orthodox, it's like been happening for a long time. But yeah, it like still happens. Like here's a thing from the Times of Israel. Antwerp rabbi files police complaint against 6 circumcisers who suck blood by mouth. So it happens in Belgium, and I was just in Belgium actually, and they do it there as well. And yeah, here's one guy says, I've performed 2,000 circumcisions, mostly with Metzitzah b'peh. I've had 0 issues. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, so he was doing the sucking.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. Catholic Church, take some notes. I guess they don't do circumcisions. Yeah, I mean, it should be criminal. Like, I don't think there's any case that it should not be a criminal thing. But
I mean, yeah, it sounds pretty criminal. But yeah, that was my only question.
Yeah. Anyways, all right. Thanks for calling.
All right, peace out, bro.
Later. All right, we got Ray here. Hello.
Yo, Dan, what's up?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Well, let me speaker. So it's the Chabad, right? That's doing all this dick sucking.
I don't think so. So Chabad was the ones who were doing the tunnels, which we had. I don't know if Joe the lawyer called in and spoke about the tunnels, but I messaged him and he kind of gave me a pretty adequate explanation as to what was going on with that. No, this is, I don't know which. Again, there's like, how like Christianity has 500 different sects.
I know. Yeah.
So there's like,
this
is just like
we have the same thing going on.
I think this is just like one sect. Like this definitely is not. Here's even 2002 is like there's like infants getting hospitalized, getting this is from 2020, getting
I like travel a lot, but I also spend like a autistic amount of time on Google Earth, especially looking at like small villages in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Oh, that's cool. You're like that GeoBolt dude.
Yeah. I was spending a lot of time on there, just digging around, and every semi town has a fucking Chabad center.
Yeah,
in the middle of the fucking mountains in the Himalayas, Chabad center.
They have
down
them there.
In the middle of fucking nowhere in Africa, in any of the countries, Chabad center.
Which is kind of odd because I get that there's like the Christian like the Mormons and stuff where they go like what are they called where they go to like convert everybody in Africa and stuff.
I'm not positive, but yeah,
you know what I mean or whatever. Someone will know in the chat or whatever. But like Jews are not like that. Like Jews are not trying to get more Jews. Like they're not like
with how much there's so many they have
missionaries
everywhere. Yeah.
Missionaries. Thanks guys. Guys.
That's the word.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't. Let's see. Chabad locations worldwide. Over 100. Yeah, over 100.
There was one in Fiji.
So I have the entire map of all the Chabad locations in the world right here. So yeah, South Korea has one. There's one in South Korea. There's 3 in Japan. China has some. Vietnam has one in Hanoi. Cambodia, Ho Chi Minh City. I mean, the thing is, I think if there's 10 Jews somewhere, like
Right.
they'll open one. Like I think
Right.
you just and there are like lots of places where there's just like 10 Jews.
How many countries also got free taxes on religious shit? Is that a popular thing in the world?
That I don't know. I don't know if that's extended all over the world, but there's one in Newfoundland.
They ain't taking in like Africa. In Newfoundland, I could see that, but like in Africa, they ain't getting breaks from the government. I mean, whatever government they have.
I mean, the thing is, there's like
currently.
there are Jews. There's African Jews, and there's obviously South African Jews who are just like Dutch, I guess, mostly. And
that's what they say the Ark of the Covenant went, but you know.
Yeah, but like Uganda has a
Ethiopia or
Chabad
something.
house. Rwanda has one. But I guess, like, yeah, I don't know. I don't think these are the kind of things that are just open to the public. Like, let's see what I'm trying to open up the Chabad Rwanda website here. It won't even let me open it. It thinks it's like a fucking.
You brought up.
It thinks it's like a
Westboro
malicious
Baptist
link.
Church.
Yeah.
You brought up. They were coming to my high school because we had a theater program in our high school, and we were doing the play about the kid that got like beat up and like hung up on a fence up in like Montana or like
Yeah, that was
Wisconsin or some
the
shit.
Boys Don't Cry or whatever, that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were
Trevor
coming to my high
Project or
school to
whatever?
protest. Yeah, the Trevor Project. That's it. The they were coming to my high school to like protest, and my dad printed up a bunch of like signs in like their format, like same colors, same font, and everything, and it would say like "God is a fag," "WBC can eat me."
Yeah.
And they ended up not showing up because I'm pretty sure my dad would have gotten arrested for some bullshit.
Yeah. Right. So, by the way, I'm looking at the Chabad in Rwanda right now, and they're essentially missionaries. They're probably all from New York area, and they just are like being kind of picked. They go, you got to go move to Rwanda to like just set up this thing, and I guess they just go live in fucking wherever, all over the world, and yeah. So I guess they're kind of like missionaries, but it's just I don't think they're that open to the public like that. That's what I don't get. So.
Well, also, maybe that's because we can't round them all up.
Maybe, yeah. I guess if they spread out, yeah. I don't know. I don't think that's what they're thinking though. I hopefully Joe the lawyer is watching and he can call in and maybe.
I'm just Josh, and also Israel. I'm a Jew. Don't come after me.
Yeah,
you guys paid for my trip.
Yeah,
they paid for a trip for me to.
I actually never got that. I never did the free Sheldon Adelson, a great American patriot. That'll piss some people off.
I wouldn't go now. I mean,
someone just called in from Tel Aviv. Sounds like it's fine. He said there wasn't
I've seen what that guy's seen though. They just pull over brown dudes. They're like, yeah, that guy's way too brown, dude.
Right. Have you lived in Israel?
What happens?
Have you lived in Israel?
No.
You just been there though?
No. I went there for like a week and a half, 2 weeks or something like that.
Yeah, I went there for like 10 days when I was in high school. And I mean, I always say like for, because with all the war stuff and people are like, they talk about the right of return. And I'm like, if I had fucking my choice to move to countries, I don't think Israel would be in my top 20 countries to move to.
I can think of 20 states that'd be better than Israel.
20 states for sure that are safer and everything. But I'm just like, if you like, that's the thing too. Jews know they're like Israeli Jews. That's like a different, like I had a friend who used to own this bar in Toronto. It's like a really famous bar. And they were all Jewish.
What's the bar called?
I don't know. Actually, it doesn't even matter. It's the Imperial Pub. I used to run a
comedy show. Imperial Pub.
Yeah, the Imperial Pub. Yeah, Yonge and Dundas Square. It's all Jewish owned. They've owned it for like 80 years. And when he was the manager there, he's just like, we don't hire Israelis. He's like, it's just a rule. He's like, we just don't hire. He's like, we just won't hire Israelis.
That sounds like some Jews I know over here in Ohio and shit.
Yeah. So
they're like, they all. No, I used to work at fucking not Skull and Bones. Jesus Christ, the Rat and the Rodent. They're in
I don't know what that is.
Oh,
The
It was
rat
like
and
a
the
3-story
rodent.
bar. I think it was. I only worked there for like 2 months when I was living in New York City. But
In New York
it was a
City or
famous
Toronto?
bar.
Oh, in New York City.
In New York City.
Oh, I don't know the
Yeah.
bars here that well. But it's all Jewish
all
owned
good.
as well.
Yeah, well, no, it was owned by a half Jewish dude who was from England and his Irish like best friend.
Right. Yeah, a
And
lot of the
it
bars
was just
here.
like, yeah, it was super cool.
Yeah. The funny thing about the Imperial Pub, I don't know if I should be giving away all this information, but whatever.
It's called the Dead Rabbit. Not the, I was mixing up bars.
Oh,
the Dead Rabbit.
Dead Rabbit. But like
It's
they're
like a world famous bar.
Yeah. For anybody lives in Toronto who's watching the show, like this bar is right. It's right in like the equivalent of Times Square, Yonge and Dundas Square, or whatever they renamed it again. But the piece of land they're on is worth like tens and tens of millions of dollars. Like they constantly have developers coming in, being like, "Hey, do you want to just sell us your land and just get out of the fucking bar game?" And they're like, "No." And they're like, the bar like does okay. It's not like gangbusters. It looks like hasn't been remodeled in 60 years. They just like it. But they could just literally take a fucking huge payday and just be done with the bar, and they're just none of them want to.
Yeah, I mean that's cool. They used to do like shows there. I've been to that bar like once.
Yeah, I ran a show. I ran like an open mic there for like 3 years or something, until Ryan Long got it canceled. Actually, funny enough.
What did Ryan do?
He didn't do anything, actually. We kind of rag on him. I was literally, it was when I was shooting that movie Filth City, and then so people were like handling, someone was on stage, basically some woman was in a wheelchair and was heckling Ryan, and then Ryan was like kind of just talking shit to her, and then she went and complained that like the comedian was mean to her, and because she was in a wheelchair, the kid who was like, it was like the son, he's like the youngest son, he's like 20 at the time, and he was kind of like very like lean super left, and he was just like, "That's it, show's over," and just ended it.
Oh God!
Yeah, it was like our multi-year show just gone like that.
I'm turning 30 in like 5 days, 6 days.
Happy early birthday!
Thanks, man. And I feel like I'm on the very end of like I'm a millennial technically, and I don't know any other millennials that are like so uptight about jokes and shit like that, or like a lot of things in general.
Yeah.
But it's wild seeing like kids who are like 20, 21 at the bar right now. Like I got yelled at for saying faggot at a bar on Friday, and I just laughed in the dude's face.
What was it? All right, let's hear the context. This is more of a bathhouse call, but while we're here, let's hear it.
All right, so I'm sitting at the bar. I'm with a chick that I work with and her friend and one of my buddies, and we're sitting like girl guy, and then I'm like telling a story about a person who says faggot to me. I'm not even calling anybody a faggot. Someone called me a faggot.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Man, you look like such a faggot right now in that little hat you're wearing." And I was like, "Man, the guy I fucked in the ass last night had that same shirt you're wearing." Okay. And that was the bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then the dude like turns over. He's with a chick. He's like catty corner at like the bar end.
Yeah.
And he's like, "What did you just say?" And I'm like, "What?"
Was he a gay guy?
No, he was straight. I was kind of putting in a little inflection because I was,
Oh, okay.
But he was like, "What the fuck are you guys doing?" Like,
that is like for some reasons people that will just be kind of like out of context, like a trigger word. Sometimes like we'll be saying stuff like we'll be, I'll be at a table in a restaurant and we'll be like cracking jokes and like even using the word wigger. And you're like, man, if you like, sometimes if you just say that word enough times, you go, man, someone could just like slightly mishear that. And then, you got someone in your face and you're like, no, I was saying wigger. You know what I mean? And you're like, yeah, but I would certainly not, I would never approach anybody in public over anything I heard them say, but.
Yeah, I was like, dude, what? Like, fuck off, dude.
And what did he do?
Leave me alone. He noticed my buddy is the like head bartender and the owner of the establishment. So I was like, I looked at him and then looked at him again, and the guy was just like, "All right, dude." And I was like, and then his girlfriend like looked super embarrassed. I was like, "Yeah, why are you dating that?" And she was hot.
Well, that might have been the end of that for him. He might have fucked that one up. But I don't know. Yeah, I haven't like I see a lot of people who come out to shows and stuff, and obviously who like listen to the pods, and they all seem fine. Like, I don't know. There's obviously, I understand it exists an element of like college students because college students are just naturally more left wing. I think that's just how it is. Right?
Yeah, I'll be honest, Ray. I'm left wing as fucking can be. I'm just kind of pro guns, you know.
Exactly. It's like everybody has like their kind of thing that ends up, you know, kind of dragging the fuck. Who is it recently? Actually, there's someone who's kind of I can't remember. It'll maybe come to me. I don't even want to say, but like someone who just like there's all these people who are like these single issues kind of like remove them from their side. They go like they'll be like these staunch like left or right wings, and then like just one issue that they're so firmly opposed to, and then they're like all of a sudden just floating around with no home anymore from a single thing. Fuck, I can't think of the person, but there's someone not Rappaport, but Rappaport kind of in that sense. Like, you know, like it took was Israel for Rappaport to be like, yeah, I'll vote for Donald Trump. You're like, what?
Hey, you think Donald? So I bought a bunch of DWAC stock. You know what that is?
DWAC? Yeah, like the
Digital World Acquisition Corporation.
What's that at right now?
I haven't checked today. Let me check. Hold on.
What's that? Oh, it's at $40. That's surprising.
Yeah,
I mean,
I bought it like
who
I bought
the
it like
fuck
I bought it like
wants to
15.
own Truth
I bought it at
Social?
17 less than a month ago, and that's just going to be going up because Trump's going to win.
Yeah, but
It's just
who is
going
going
up.
to use Truth Social? I feel so. I'll give
Well,
you
no,
the.
it's gonna turn from DWAC into something else. I can't remember the name.
But it
or
just
the
it is
initials
true.
right now.
But it is Truth Social.
Yeah, but these people are retards, and they're gonna throw money at it.
No, I understand that. I'm just saying, in terms of actual Truth Social, like it's besides Donald Trump being on there, like it sucks. You know what I mean? Like, and like, what happens if and this is actually what I wonder about with something like Truth Social. What happens if he goes, okay, I have to be on Twitter in order to win this election? Does he come back on Twitter? You know what I mean? Like,
I thought he was already supposed to be back on. I think he's already technically allowed to be back on
no,
Twitter.
he is.
But
He's been reinstated on Twitter, and he's been reinstated. And he tweeted when he had his mugshot. He released his mugshot. That was his that one tweet, and then he left again because I think it's a violation of his deal with True Social and DWAC or whatever.
But people are going to be throwing money at DWAC until you know the presidency. It's going to change tickers. I think in April. I think in April, early April, it switches.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember to what. But if anyone out there in the chat wants to buy some, it'll probably be a good time to buy it because it looks like he's going to be winning the Republican primary.
Yeah, it seems like it. Even though they're trying to make Nikki Haley happen, I cannot see that. I don't really understand how that's like who likes Nikki Haley other than I said on the Boys Cast last week, but other than Democrats who just will take a woman as like a victory and not have to vote for Biden. And then they go, okay, like a Republican woman is like basically as good as Democrat Biden. And they just,
right.
You know what I mean? You're like, it's because they're like, well, it's still a woman.
That's like Kamala Harris, basically.
Kind of, right? So you go like, look,
Right?
yes, I got to plug my nose. I got to vote for a Republican, but they're like, she's a woman. So you got to figure she'll be good on like, reproductive rights, which is like the kind of a big issue for a lot of people. And then, so you got to figure like, that's my only thought. I'm like, I don't see a scenario where she even competes, but, yeah. Anyways. All right, Rafe, I gotta let you go, pal. Thanks for calling.
Later, bro.
All right. Peace. Yeah. I don't see it. I don't see Nikki Haley. This border crisis thing, this whole, but there was this whole Texas shit going on, and then they were like, I don't even know what's going on with that. Call. Hello, thanks for calling Low Value Mail.
Hey, what's up? We through?
Yes.
Yeah, I just came a little bit late. Gang, someone mentioned in the chat that someone brought up that Europa song.
The Europa song? No, the movie. There's a Europa song.
Yeah, it's like the documentary about the like replacement of the white people.
It's on Rumble. It's like 11 hours. The Europa, the last battle or whatever. It's like the dude who fucking The dude who's like the narrator of it, that's the one of the things too. Is like the dude who's the narrator literally has like a lightning bolts tattooed on his face and shit.
You know, I mean, I guess people should be allowed to believe what they want to believe. I mean, someone in the chat, like someone in the chat said like they're trying to like take care of their kids, but they wanted you to sound off on, do you know what the Kalergi replacement theory is?
No, what's that?
So this is like the original of the
Can you
Great
spell that
Replacement, where they're
word?
like Kalegri. And Wikipedia does this thing where they label it a far right anti-Semitic
Kalergi
white
plan.
genocide.
The Kalergi plan. So
Yeah.
this is from Wikipedia. Take with this what you will. The Kalergi plan, sometimes called the Coudenhove Kalergi conspiracy, is a far-right anti-Semitic white genocide conspiracy theory. The theory claims that Austrian-Japanese politician Richard von Coudenhove Kalergi, creator of the Pan-European Union, concocted a plot to mix white Europeans with other races via immigration.
Disgusting.
The conspiracy is
Yuck.
the conspiracy is most often associated with European groups and parties, but has also spread to North American politics. I mean, I don't know if I have too simplistic of a like idea about this, like all this stuff, but I straight up think if like Americans were replacing themselves at a rate that was enough to not require immigration, there would be very little immigration. They're not. That is the issue. Like everybody can complain all you want, but like America is not the type of country that's designed to have decreasing populations. It's literally, it's a house of cards that requires a constant but gradual increase of the population. Has to happen.
A house of cards. It's a house of cards that celebrates abortion. Like,
I mean, half the country does. Half the country does. That's. I mean, since
I'm a 15-week kind of guy. Like,
yeah,
you got 15 weeks to. That's more than enough time. Like,
agreed. Agreed. I'm like, I don't think you should. I don't believe like the conception thing. And even if it is, you're like, yeah, I'm not anti-abortion. But like, look, all the people who are mad about the replacement stuff, you're like, look, you had your opportunity. Like they gave you, like, if you want to believe in a deep state or whatever, powers be, whatever, like America, the ball's in their court here. Like, you can replace your population yourself, but if you're not going to do it, then there's only really one other way to do it. Like, I honestly believe, like, with this border stuff, like, yeah, Trump wanted to shut down the border, and obviously Biden is like just pretending he's doing the opposite of Trump because that's just like what you do. But you're like, still at the end of the day, like, I think some people at the top don't want to say it.
The thing is with the immigration is America had a president, a most recent one, and he says, why can't we get immigrants from nice countries, like Nordic countries, Northern European countries, you know?
Yeah. Look, I was just in the Nordic countries. I was just in pretty much all of them except for Finland. I don't think that many of them want to move to America. Some of them do. Like, I don't think they honestly, if they have.
Perfect thought. Was Hitler wrong about the Aryan race? Was he wrong?
I mean, some good-looking folks in Scandinavia. I will concede that. Although it's expensive as hell in like Denmark and Norway and Sweden. I could not believe how expensive. Apparently, we didn't go to Finland. Apparently, Finland has a 25% sales tax, flat sales tax, 25% on fucking anything. That is insane. But like, again, if you straight up said, hey, every single person, first off, the population of all four of those places combined, I don't think would even really put a dent in America. Like,
well, I mean, women can,
27 million people, okay?
Eggs.
All of Scandinavia, that's Denmark, Norway, and Sweden is...
I love
20 million people.
I love the place. I've been to Copenhagen. I've been to Tallinn.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, for this idea where you go, hey, like, we can get better, quote unquote, more desirable immigrants. You're like, no, you can't. Like, there's 1 year of getting all those eligible people, and like, there'd be nobody left to crawl from that like location. If you gave everybody in Scandinavia, hey, you can move to America tomorrow. Like, no questions asked. We're just taking Scandinavians. We just want Scandinavians for whatever reason. Like, yeah, maybe you get 1 million people. Not that much. And then what about next year?
I mean, what is it? I guess this is like reflective on like the whole thing of like, oh, like women should not be relegated to thinking about like being mothers or whatever, or just like don't have children or only have one kid, and then forget about this. No,
look, China had a policy about it that's backfiring in their face too.
Yeah, and it failed horribly. But like when motherfuckers talk about this theory, this so-called theory of overpopulation.
Overpopulation is a dumb person theory. That is a absolute.
If you truly
go drive around,
kill yourself.
Not even that.
Part of the problem.
Go to any major city in America, and then just drive for 2 hours and tell me that there's a population problem. Yeah, maybe the major cities in America are overpopulated. Go to Canada. Like, you go to Toronto, you could be in the sticks in 30 minutes. Like, the absolute bush in 30 minutes. Like, there is not a issue with the lack of space. There's a lack of resources, certainly. Like, Canada they added 1 million people to a country of 40 million people. You're like, those people have to live somewhere. I don't know if they're having 1 million new homes coming online. I guess it wouldn't be 1 million. But
bro, y'all have a whole empty tundra. Y'all have an ice desert. Go shove them up there.
Ice desert? Are you kidding? Dude, they could go an hour north of fucking Winnipeg and it's barren. Like
No.
2 hours north of Toronto,
coming from the
empty.
All these people coming from the equatorial parts of the world.
Yeah.
That I want them. You ever seen that funny video? It's like this African immigrant who's like yelling. He's like, I think he's stuck in like a snowstorm or a blizzard in like New York, and he's just like walking out of his job. He's like, nah, fuck this, I'm leaving. He's like, it is too cold here. I cannot live here.
Sure, but also that guy, I don't know what he does, but you're like, again, if you're in America, you can go to California, you can go to Florida. Like, there are warm places, and you have not left America. Whereas, like, Canada is just, there's nothing but cold, and then there's more cold. But, there's no in between. But anyways, because I'm not anti-immigrant. I'm literally, I'm not from America. My parents are not from Canada. I'm very much pro-immigration. But, I don't agree that, like, with what's going on with the southern border, it sucks for Texas, but I honestly think they're letting it happen because there's people who understand a reality that some people just do not want to either think about or address, or it's just people are contrary to that, but you're like, they need more people in this country. They need more people in every country, but they just need bodies.
My most compassionate argument against letting in all these illegal aliens is that they're going to be forced to be around white people.
Yeah.
And anytime somebody who is not white is around somebody who is white, the non-white person experiences racism and hatred, and like that's
you know what? I will go as far as say that the people
I think if white people don't have to be forced around non-white people, there'll be so much less racism.
Yeah. I mean, I'll say this, like, the people who are coming in through the southern border, if you ask them their top 10 issues they're worried about, none of them are going to be the racism they're about to deal with. None of them care. I don't think that's like a problem that they even think about, that they're like, when they're fucking walking, through like barbed wire or whatever, that they're like, we might encounter some racism here. They're probably like leaving these shittiest fucking circumstances that are pretty imaginable.
Yeah,
and anyways,
no, it's undeniable. Yeah, they come from shithole countries, the same way I did.
Yeah, exactly.
And send it back. Like they're the only ones who can fix it. Like, because here's the thing: America has tried to like attempt to fix political issues in other countries since like 1954.
Mm-hmm.
It has not been working out well. Like,
not for lack of trying.
Like, I don't like communism, but it's like, hey, you should have let all these people try out communism and had them fail hard as fuck.
Well, I mean, you go to Miami, all those Cuban dudes, they're all far, they're not far right, but they're all the Venezuelans, like they're not going to vote for Joe Biden in a second. They're like, we'll vote whatever conservative candidate you give us, we will vote for because we just want whatever is the farthest thing from whatever that fucking was that we just escaped from.
Yeah, and then the last thing I want to bring up was y'all were talking about sects of Christianity earlier.
Yeah,
I just want to throw my 2 cents on opinion. I mean, I'm not Orthodox Christian of any sort, but I think Eastern Orthodox Christians had it figured out. You know, let your priest, you know, be able to marry, not be fucking kids, and it's just, they're all Eastern Europeans and Balkans. Like, that's just them. Let them be, you know, grimy people of their own kind.
Yeah, I mean, again, with the whole like thing, you know, when you have like any scale of anything, if you have a million priests, like,
yeah, that's my
but it's like if you have a million priests, yes, some of them are going to be murderers, some of them are going to diddle kids. But you're like, just once you hit a certain mass of any number of anything, you're just like, yeah, there's going to be bad apples. It's just how it is.
Yeah, and then the one thing that before I hang up,
yes,
the Talmud, like my whole Instagram feed, like there's some fucking dude watching my shit and trying to like program and push me hateful stuff. I think I called in last week.
Sorry, I'm gonna have to say I don't believe that, but
oh well, whatever.
I don't think. Wait, are you trying to say that Instagram is radicalizing you?
Yeah, so they're giving me like all these channels, which is like if you look through the channel, you're like, this looks like some motherfucker working for the feds is just having fun. Like, yeah. I want that job. I wish I could have a job making fake, super, just like, but it's all these channels that showing like the Talmud, and they're like listing all the like fucked up shit that's written and printed verbatim.
Yeah.
And then if you do read it, it almost sounds like everything that the SEC and all the banking laws are written into.
You think all of it comes from the Talmud? I mean,
like how they excuse the Talmud excuses yourself from committing sins that are, you know, you can't eat pork, but if it's less than 63%, you know.
Right. I mean, I think a lot of the legal. Yeah, I've heard a lot of the Western legal system or stuff comes from, I don't know, stuff like that. I don't know.
I mean, how many universities have like the seven candle menorah and use? I mean, what? Like it says Veritas in Hebrew on the Harvard logo.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It says in Hebrew. Yeah, there you go. All right, Slav. Thanks, dude. I'm sure I'll be talking to you tomorrow night on the Bathhouse. That was Slav, everybody. Just another reminder that going forward, I don't know why I'm holding a fork. I was eating Chipotle. If you're wondering why I've been holding a fork, I like it. I found it on the table, and it's kind of like, remember Bill Clinton or Obama? They had the pen. You can kind of like, you talk better with the, like, you can do this, but if you put a fork in your hand, for some reason, I know it's, all right, we got a call. Hello.
Hey, Danny, what's going on?
What is happening? Who am I speaking with?
What's happening? This is Charlie from Florida.
Charlie from Florida. How you doing, man?
Good, man. I just wanted to ask a couple things. One, do you think like it's going to become a thing for people to start jumping on stage at comedy shows?
So I was you're referencing the Mark Norman thing?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was with Mark Norman the next day, and obviously everybody was like, what was that about? I think it's come out, though, that it was a publicity stunt for...
Publicity stunt. Okay.
So yeah. So anyways, I'm pretty sure this information has been released. If not, sorry, Mark. But I'm pretty sure it has come out that it was a publicity stunt for the new Mr. and Mrs. Smith movie on Amazon. I don't. Here's the thing. And I hope I don't get him in trouble, but I'm sure it won't because whatever. But basically it was like a big production. They like rented out the club, and then he was just like, yeah, they just told me something's going to happen, but like I didn't know what. And then basically just like that happened, but he's like, it was after he had almost done a full hour. So he's just like, I was just doing, my set. And then that kind of happened, and yeah, basically
It seemed like that.
and then someone who filmed it, like it went viral, but like that company who does that, like that's what they work with, is they do these like viral stunts or whatever, and then I guess it's just it's for that, I guess.
Oh, wow.
So anyways,
Yeah,
but I'm pretty sure, I hope I'm not giving anything away, but I'm pretty sure like it's already been, this information has been kind of.
Yeah, because it just seemed like the clip. It seemed like the club owner or whoever came out was like really kind of freaked out. It seemed like they wanted everybody in the audience to leave.
So that was all part of them. The interesting thing is that was all part of them getting this viral clip. But like, I guess the whole thing is they were supposed to release it. Like the production was supposed to release it. But I think the clip that actually went viral was just some random person released it. But then I guess if you, because here's the thing, like normally you wouldn't be allowed for 20 people to whip their phones out at a show like that, you know, like there were so many people recording it. But anyways, like apparently it went viral from just one of the people who was in the audience. That's how it happened. Why does my fucking phone keep ringing? But anyways, yeah.
It kind of seems like, you know, that'd be crazy if people just start thinking like, oh yeah, I'll just get on stage and get something out of it, you know, just whatever. Hopefully that doesn't become like something that catches on, but
right. No. That was like it was a whole, like planned production and all that stuff.
Right.
Hopefully not. I mean, here's the thing, a normal comedy club, if you did that, like most comedy clubs, someone is going to fucking come grab your ass. And unless you're a chick, because if you're a chick, it's a different thing to deal with. Because one, you're like, look, if there's a woman comedian on stage and a guy gets on stage, like that would be kind of threatening. I could see that. And if a guy's on stage and like another guy got on stage, like I would think if a guy comes on stage, like I might have to fight him. That's what I would be thinking for sure.
Sure, yeah.
But like, if it's a dude comes on stage, like most comedy clubs, someone will rush up there and pull that dude off. Because like, again, like as crazy as the whole thing is, you're like, it's ruining the show. Like there's a bunch of people there who paid like good money to watch the show, and the show's getting ruined. Yeah. You know, so yeah, so I hope not. I hope this doesn't not sort of any trend, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see, I guess. The other thing was, I wanted to like just, do you think like, is it kind of annoying to you, like the whole extremes thing about how with conspiracies, especially like it's like everything is real or everything is fake thing, like there's no like in between. Do you notice that? Like with like most people, when they believe like one thing, they have to believe like it's almost like they have to believe everything is fake.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, some people are there is this kind of in some people where they go, you know, you can't fool me. You know, you're not going to fool me kind of thing. And then they take that to the extent where they go, everything's bullshit. And you're like, well, if you think everything's fake, then I think you've gone too far, because there's a lot of things that are not fake. I mean, the whole point is being able to discern the fake ones from the real ones.
Right. Well, they'll go from, you know, oh, there's some corruption in in power to, well, you know, the Earth is flat. There's no moon. The moon doesn't exist. You know, like
yeah, of course, for sure. I mean, and some people go that route. Some people they continue. If you kind of think everything's bullshit and you just kind of keep going down that path, and then eventually, I mean, it kind of makes. I mean, whatever. Like if it's a fun thing, the problem is when people start like being like, yeah, literally, you know. Like I got a guy coming on next week about the moon landing hoax. I don't believe that the moon landing was a hoax. I don't think it's a 0% chance though.
Sure, yeah.
Right. But anyways, yeah, I know what you mean. And then a lot of times people will use like, you know, like CNN, for example, or MSNBC will be like, hey, you know, these like they'll use basically being like, oh, these are conspiracy theorists, to essentially say anything that these people are saying is like wrong because they're quote unquote conspiracy theorists. And they'll go, look, some of them believe that the Earth is flat, but then they'll say that to downplay like the Russia collusion thing. You're like, no, that did happen. They're like that was a conspiracy theory like that you guys were touting that ended up being bullshit, like the Russia collusion, all that nonsense or whatever. Like, but they would have said, oh, these are just conspiracy theorists, you know, when in fact they were the conspiracy theorists.
Like I saw on Twitter, there was actually somebody that said they were like saying like, if the world is round, how come the people on the other side of the world are standing on the ground and they're not flying in outer space?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I've heard. I mean, we had Flat Earth Dave on the show, and man, I don't know if he's worth bringing back. I would have another Flat Earther on because, like, they are funny to me, but there's a 0% chance that you will change my mind about that. That is
like gravity. A lot of people like forgot about gravity. You know, like if you throw something up, it falls down. Obviously, that's why.
I bet you that some people think gravity is not real. I mean, that's I don't know. Sometimes you kind of just. I'm sure there's flat earthers who are watching right now who are like, "Yeah, you guys are fucking bunch of rubes. Believe that the spherical Earth."
Right.
So that's
it though.
That's all.
Yeah. I mean, it's like that everything. It's like there can't be like just a smidgen of truth possibly within some of these things, but like you could take anything to the extreme.
Yeah, but like there are conspiracy theories that are true, that become true. There are currently conspiracies that are happening in the world. Like there are conspiracies. Right. People make theories about said conspiracies, aka conspiracy theories, but there are conspiracies. Like no question, there are groups of individuals who come together to do things, I guess, and I think it's the definition of a conspiracy. Like sometimes it's they don't let that information out, and so then people kind of get a hint of it, then it becomes a theory, I guess, until proven correctly, which does happen as well. So,
or it's like if somebody just starts at one point and then they circumnavigate the globe, they obviously come back to where they started. So they, that's another way to prove it.
I wish the one thing I wish I asked Flat Earth Dave, I think I've said this before, was because he said, I don't know if you saw that episode or you know much about Flat Earth Dave, but remember, so he goes, there's like all these resources that are on the outside of like the ice wall. And he goes, there's these like ships that are like on radar and they like go out.
I think
remember? And he was like, there's like oil and there's just like all these resources, but there's like off the map. And I'm like, why can't they fly there? Because he goes, there were ships, and I go, he's like, there's all these ships, and I go, why don't they fly there? But I didn't think about that until.
What if Flat Earth Dave is he just like a big troll and he's doing this all for his own for fun?
I mean, not to slag off Flat Earth Dave, but Flat Earth Dave has a lot invested in continuing the Flat Earth thing. He makes a lot. He has 100,000 paid subscribers on his Flat Earth app. Flat Earth Dave, you could literally put Flat Earth Dave in a fucking rocket ship, fly him out as far as possible, do a loop around the Earth, and he would still not publicly admit that the Earth is round. Because you're like, if the Flat Earth app guy is like, this is bullshit, well then what's he going to do now? It's funny, I know, but it's true. It's like,
oh God, that's fucking hilarious.
So
Well, listen, keep doing the shows with Ryan. You guys are hilarious.
Thank you, appreciate it, man.
Take care, man.
Later. Yeah. All right, Zach, call back. I saw Zach's been trying to call me. Zach was the one who told me about that guy Brian Tuahi. Oh, not him. Hello. You are on Low Value Mail.
What's up, Danny Jokes?
How's it going? Who am I speaking with?
You're speaking with Vincent from New Jersey.
Vincent from New Jersey. Oh, Zach, I see him calling back. Try again. How's it going, Vincent? Are you the Vincent from the chat?
I am the Vincent from the chat, aka the Brickishaw.
The Brickishaw. Well, thank you for the. Oh, actually, you know what? You just reminded me. I'm going to give away some channel memberships. I think they let you give them away now. I don't know.
Yeah, they don't let me give them away. They're
they said that
myself.
Yeah, they said that they would let them. I got an email from them saying that they would give them away, and then
it's a little fucking weird. I could buy a membership for myself for 99 cents, but if I want to.
Yeah, you can only give away the $5. Yeah, it's weird. They only let you give away the
$25.
I know, and I appreciate you, man. But yeah, they only let you give away.
No, it's all good.
Yeah. For some reason, they only let you give away the ones, I got an email specifically saying I could give away 10 a month.
Like I could buy one for myself for 30
Well, they're different tiers.
99 cents.
I guess they're technically because I'm like they're different tiers of members. I don't know. I think there's some extra features for the $5 stuff. Like you get all the access to whatever.
It's fucking YouTube, man. It's not you. So.
Yeah, I know. Anyways, what's up, Vincent? How's you going?
What's up? I don't know. I want to start this off by saying I'm not claiming to be a smart man in any way.
Okay.
You guys are all talking about a lot of kind of serious shit as far as Israel and flat Earth and all that. I'd rather keep it light.
Yes, let's keep it light.
I was gonna come into the city last night. You were at the Grizzly Pear, right?
I didn't go to that. For some reason,
shit. All right,
I'm
good.
glad
I'm
you
so
didn't.
Fucking glad I didn't come.
Oh man, honestly, I'll say this: if you ever want to come see me live do stand up, literally message me just in case. Because like for some reason they put me on that show. It was on Monday at midnight. Was on that show. I'm like, I'm not going to that. I'm not going.
Yeah, you're the only fucking person I wanted to come
Yeah,
see.
I'm like, I'm not going into the city. Those shows get canceled and stuff. I'm like, I'm not going to. The only way I would ever do that is if I was on the 10 p.m. show, and then they're like, you can go. I'll go like last on the 10 p.m. and then like first on the 12 o'clock, so I could do like 2 in a short period. But like, I'm not just going to the city.
Right.
Like that's not a great spot. That's like,
that's
like I'm going to dick around and shit.
I'm not familiar with that place at all, but I know like. They were advertising like Richie Redding was on the 10 o'clock show.
Yeah, and Richie Redding would have. Yeah.
So I was like, all right, fuck it. I'll drive from New Jersey and pay, fucking $60 in tolls and go park in New York to go see 2 comics I want to see and 8 comics that I've never heard of.
Yeah.
Fine.
Hold on, Vincent, 1 second. I see some stuff in the chat. Please, everybody, only moderate spam. I don't know if there's stuff. The point of the mods is only to delete spam. Just, I don't know. I see some sort of conversation. Anyways, continue. Continue there, Vincent.
Anyway, I'm very glad to hear that you
that would have been like, I would not go on, like, if you're gonna go on a Monday, I mean, if you're gonna go on a Monday night, the best show to go to is Frantic at the Stand, because it's a free show and you can see like a lot of really good comedians. It's not far from the Grizzly Pear. It's like 5 minutes away.
No, I know. Like, are you on every Monday?
No, but I'm on occasionally, but those are not always on the lineup. They're just
like checking these comedy clubs' websites really isn't.
Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's not always, but usually it's pretty accurate. But like comics sometimes, don't show up, or sometimes they'll be like double booked and stuff. So, you want to kind of somewhat be flexible that you may not see the person.
Yeah, I don't know. In looking at the Stand's website, I don't see you on there.
Yeah, I'm on there occasionally. Yeah, from time to time. I do like probably maybe 1 or 2 spots, but some of the spots I get there are last minute too. Like they'll just message me.
Anyway, I'm trying to get you to fucking come out to Jersey, so I sent the message.
I was gonna. Have you ever been to the dojo? Have you ever been to there?
No. You know what? I think I went there once a few years ago.
So I might, if I'm in town, Sam Tripoli's going to be there. Early.
That's his place, right?
Yeah, it's his place, or kind of his place-ish. He's going to be there early March. And he's going to be there early March, and they're doing like the Grifty Awards or whatever that guy like Hotep Jesus does. I don't know if you know what that is. I've heard of it. I don't really. I know Hotep Jesus or whatever. Anyways, there's a good chance I'll be there for one of those shows. So. I think there's a show, but anyways, and then I'm at Brooklyn Comedy a lot. Brooklyn Comedy Club is on Bedford is the one that like you can catch me at pretty often.
Brooklyn Comedy Club, where? In Brooklyn?
It's in Williamsburg. It's called Old Man Hustle Brooklyn Comedy Club. Yeah, for you, it's probably a bit of a hike.
For me, I still feel like that's me coming into the city, and every time I come into the city, I get in some kind of fucking trouble. So I'm kind of rather avoid it.
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, well, I'll definitely be probably at some point. I was just talking to the guy at the dojo, but I'll do like a headlining night there at the dojo at some point.
Have you done the Stress Factory in New Brunswick?
I have never done the Stress Factory. No, I would. I don't. I've never met Vinny, so I don't know. Although I've heard his pranks are fucking insane.
His what?
His pranks. The pranks he does?
Yeah. I mean, if you look at the fucking Instagram, it's just filled with him pranking.
It's so funny,
like,
though, because his pranks are so insane.
Like people who are coming there paying to see a show, and he'll fuck with them and be like,
he's just like, you can't come in. And they're like,
oh,
what?
you bought 2 tickets, but you didn't buy a 2-top, so we're gonna have to seat you separately and all this other bullshit.
Yeah, like all these is like weird, and they're like, what? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
He goes, gotcha. Yeah.
He's not funny though.
I've heard he's
for like a long time.
I've heard he's a killer. I mean, he's been doing comedy there, I heard, for like 40 years or something.
Yeah, no, he does. He's pretty fucking good as like an opener and
Yeah. I've been meaning to get out there. Maybe I'll shoot him a message and I'll see if I can make.
I mean, I don't think it's that far from you. You could probably come there, make a little chunk of change, and then go the fuck home.
Yeah,
whatever. But
I will put that on my list, Vincent. I will
put it on your list, and we need more people. If there's anybody else in Jersey, fucking message the Stress Factory, put them on Instagram or send them.
That is honestly the best thing you do. Just go on Instagram, just message them, being like, "Hey, I want to see this guy."
They responded back to me within 12 hours and was like, "Oh, we take all of our patrons' requests seriously, so
all right,
be looking in the upcoming months." But I don't know how fucking booking works.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like sometimes you just message, sometimes you got to know someone. It's a whole thing. But anyways, I will try for you, Vincent, and for the fine people of New Brunswick. Is it New Brunswick?
It's in New Brunswick. New Brunswick is a fucking shithole, though. It's a fucking nice.
You know what I do sometimes? Actually, I don't know if that's far. Are you far from Rutherford?
Probably about 40 minutes.
Oh, okay, because Rutherford, there's this place called the Williams Center.
That's where Bananas is too, right?
I don't know about that, but I do shows occasionally there. There's this like big theater called the Williams Center that just reopened after like a long time, and they do a bunch of comedy stuff, and I do shows there from time to time. Like spots on these shows, but anyways, I'll post all this stuff once I know. All right, Vincent, anything else you want to talk about?
I had a second question.
Let's hear the second question that you were concerned about.
Which I've been seeing on the Patreon chat. There's more than one person concerned. Where the fuck is Chad?
Where's
Chad Turner?
Chad?
Where's the light switch at?
So Chad, that's a good question actually. He called in I think he called into the last open lines, but I don't know. I think he's just, people's kind of, I mean, I'm like that with shows where you kind of come and go and come back. So I don't know. Yeah, he hasn't called in, and my girl actually asked the same thing. She goes, we're having a chat, but I'm like, he did call in, like, I want to say on the last open lines episode, which would have been like a month ago. So yeah, he's around, but I mean, he used to call in like every episode. I think once I switched the format, like I honestly think I lost half of the original viewers from, not to say that was Chad, but a lot of, like, when I switched the format over to guests, I did lose a lot of, like, I think a lot of people were like, yeah, it's kind of not exactly the show that I like.
I mean, I'll be honest with you, like, I never watched the Boys Cast or anything. I've been watching it lately, and I like it. I love it. But how I found you was when you got fucking war mode on Low Value Mail.
Oh, okay.
Because
nice.
I'm always into war mode, so when something war mode pops up, I was like, oh, war mode on Low Value Mail. Let me check this out. And
nice. Yeah, war mode's the shit. Let's go to them.
Since then I've been watching, and then after that found like your other fucking call-in show, The Bathhouse. That shit is ridiculous.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So fun.
Thank you.
It's so much fun, dude.
Yeah. I love The Bathhouse. I honestly.
And I don't know. I like, if I can call in there and nobody's gonna take me seriously, that's what I'm looking for. You know what I mean?
That is the show.
If I can call in and call Karen Fisher a dirty slut and have fucking
Karen
Tommy
Fisher
hang up on me.
Yeah. You mix Corinne and Karen Fian, but yeah, I know what you mean. They're both dirty sluts.
Well, whatever.
I love them both.
Yeah.
But
if I could talk to Karen, whatever the fuck her name is again, and apologize, I would say, I got her confused for the other one.
Nice show like that. Well, yeah, I mean that was the idea with the bathhouse, and I don't know. I just like talk radio. That's all I'm trying to do. Is I'm trying to just make talk radio great again on the internet.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking awesome, man. I don't want to keep you forever.
Cool.
I have other shit for the bathhouse.
All right. Well, then we'll hear you tomorrow. We got a good lineup actually tomorrow. We got who do we have tomorrow? I actually know the lineup because I've been trying to make a point of booking it in advance. So that
When you get Colin back on there?
Column. We have tomorrow Doug Urim, Robbie Goodwin, and Wolfgang Hunter.
Okay.
Yeah. Column, I don't know. Column was on recently. He was on. I just like a lot of people. I just book like if I see that they're on at the stand, then I'll try to be like, hey.
Yeah, if they're on Wednesdays, it's like, all right, well,
exactly.
here,
like,
so
are you
fucking-
there already? So I always try and leave one
Right.
slot open, but sometimes I do book it. It just that's how it goes. All right. Cool, Vincent. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, man. Go ahead and talk to somebody else, please.
Thank you, Vincent. Everybody. Yes. MTGRA merch. Make talk. What's the G? Okay, here's Zach. Zachary.
Hello.
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, how you doing, Dan?
Good, very good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm glad you're having that NFL writer on.
I'm having who?
Are you the writer I showed you about the NFL being rigged?
I'm trying. He's like literally. I wanted to have him on before the Super Bowl because I'm like that would be great.
Yeah,
and he can.
yeah.
He like can't ever do Tuesday nights. He's just like Tuesday nights are so bad for him. So
Does he need payment? Can I pay him to come or something?
I mean, you can message him and ask him, but his main issue is he's just like his schedule is just like Tuesday nights are not really an option for him, unfortunately. So I'm like, just tell me when you can come on. He said he might be able to do the weekend after the Super Bowl. So
Oh yeah, it's whatever, bro. But I was gonna say I feel like both sides kind of fall for psyops a lot.
okay,
Like whether liberal or a conservative, because like for conservatives I saw it for like, do you remember the McDonald's lawsuit, hot coffee lawsuit?
of course, it's a little historic.
Yeah, so that was actually McDonald's trying to like reduce torts to like to reduce damages payouts. Like the coffee was 30 degrees hotter than normal and it gave her 3rd-degree burns. Like she admitted she spilled it, but she just wanted medical bills for her.
Yeah, she wanted like she literally wanted like a $10,000 or something.
Yeah, $20,000 for like her medical bills and that's all.
Yeah,
And then so McDonald's countersued her. Then
right.
even they had like 800 cases before that where they were like already paying out. So it's crazy that they even tried.
Yeah,
And then also with the climate stuff, like I know fossil fuels are needed. And like we, for energy, we need for our current modern life. We obviously need them, but like they obviously affect human health. I don't know how much climate change is real, and the models have been off. Like, what do you think about that?
Climate. I mean, I find it hard to believe that there's zero human impact on the climate.
Right.
I find it like that just seems unlikely that there's none.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But I also think that climate fluctuates
Alarmist.
regardless if people were here or not. Like climate does fluctuate. I'm not in like
It does fluctuate, yes.
I'm not in the doomsday camp where we're fucking
I'm
dead.
I'm less in the doomsday camp more.
I mean, I don't
like,
see like if we can make changes,
I
if you
mean,
can make some
I
minor
want
changes
nuclear,
that'll
man.
pay. Yeah, and if you can make some changes that are like, hey, you know what? We're just hedging our bets more than anything, but it's not at the expense of a ton of people. But like the fact that at the end of the day, like India is not going to stop burning fossil fuels because America is so well off. You're like, like we're trying to be like, oh, hey, America, look how, like, hey, India, like, it's bad. And they're like, well, you guys already got to do that. And, advance your economy. We're doing it now too.
No, and that's fair. They're going to do that. My main concern with fossil fuels is actually health wise. Like plastics are phytoestrogens, or they like affect your like hormones.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like they say like, I don't know, just all the health effects from it is what concerns me more than like the total, like, I think that's what they should argue more.
Yeah, I mean, I know like people talk about the microplastic stuff, and that's like, yeah,
Microplastics, phytoestrogens.
Yeah, I feel like, man, sometimes it feels like all this stuff's like unavoidable. Like, how are you supposed to avoid this stuff? You just like fucking go move into a bunker or some shit. Like,
you just run from everybody.
I don't know. Like my girl's like all spooked on plastics now. She's like, oh, we can only drink out of glass. But you're like, it's not that plastic's convenient is the problem. It's
bro, I'm
super
avoiding all
convenient.
plastic too. I'm with her.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I'm on a lot of this stuff where I go, yeah, like we just watched some documentary on Netflix, which is kind of actually a shitty documentary, but all about how meat is bad and all this stuff. And I'm just
that's like vegan propaganda.
Yeah, that was literally that's actually what I thought when I was watching. I go, this is like legitimately vegan propaganda. But I don't know. There's like, I feel like you can make incremental changes, but you're bombarded all day with just like, hey, everything in your life is killing you, and you're like, okay, I don't know what to do about that.
I know. It's just, if you want to read the news, what do you think would be like the best energy plan, like nuclear or like?
I like, I'm pro nuclear. Like, I think nuclear is great, and I think like I'm not super well informed about energy stuff. I wanted to have Alex Epstein on. I don't know if you know him.
Who's that?
He's like a big like fossil fuel guy, essentially saying like, he's in favor of kind of like greener options, but he's just like, people are delusional if you think you can just get rid of fossil fuels. And so he's basically like
obviously
pro fossil fuel, but also like pro environment guy, I guess. And then I just got to follow up. And the problem is he sent me, he goes,
you can get rid of coal though. That's the only one I would want to get rid of.
Yeah, but he goes, I'll send you my book. He goes, if you read my book, I'll come to your show. But then the book was like 400 pages. And I'm like, I guess you're not going to do my show then. Like, it's a long ass book. I don't want to like him quizzing me on it.
I guess I could read it and like send you cliff notes.
Yeah, I guess I'll follow up with him because I'm booking some guests anyways. But yeah, I don't know. The energy thing. I don't know. I'm sure we'll figure it out. I don't know. I don't know if this is like too much of just like an idiot kind of
we know anything
prescription to be like, yeah, I don't know. There's smart people dealing with this. Like, they'll figure it out. I can't contribute to anything other than.
Well, people say they're wrong about COVID, but like in like October 2020, like the Great Barrington Declaration, like the heads of all the Ivy League said lockdowns were wrong.
Yeah, I mean, we were just in Sweden, and they didn't lock down shit. And although I do remember everybody, I'm trying to actually have. I was just talking to him, but I can't nail him down. As Jay Bhattacharya.
Jay Bhattacharya, the Stanford professor.
At Stanford. So I've been talking to him, and he said he'll come on the show.
No way.
Yeah, but we just can't get a date, kind of, because he like is an actual teacher at Stanford, and because of the time difference, it's like I think he literally like teaches classes. But anyways, I'm trying to. But yeah, the COVID stuff. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't know about the energy thing. I don't really know, to be honest. Like,
no, I'm saying with COVID, like the whole time there were papers coming out saying like the masks weren't working, like, and like the lockdowns weren't working, but the companies who profited off the lockdowns were pushing what they wanted to push.
I mean, if you want to go watch a really interesting like primer about like the corruption in a lot of the COVID stuff, go watch Bill Gurley. He's a really famous, he's like one of the most famous investors. And he gave this speech about go Google Bill Gurley regulatory capture. It's 36 minutes. It's fucking amazing. Like, he breaks down all the graft and the grift and just absolutely all the corruption in the medical profession. And after you watch this thing, you'll be like, oh man, they're just.
Did you see the paper of about them doing a what's the term? Modifying the gene of SARS-CoV-1 in a lab in Wuhan in 2015.
No, but I didn't.
There's literally a paper that says the ethics of modifying or what's the official term?
I don't know, like SARS-CoV-1 or whatever. I don't know.
No, I'm talking about when they modified the virus to study it.
Like the gain of function.
Gain of function, yes.
Yeah.
So it was like ethics of gain of function, and it said SARS-CoV-1 infected humans and it was just an article questioning whether this would cause an outbreak of this deadly disease.
It's fucking crazy that they haven't done like some really like wide scale congressional investigation to like actually determine the like the actual origins where they like agree upon where they go, this is where it came from, not like maybe.
I mean, did you see how much they stole from the PPP alone?
Dude, you're probably younger. You are younger than me, but like, I don't know if people remember the kind of like hearings they did when there were steroids in baseball. But if they just did that for COVID, like like
steroids in baseball versus fucking like trillions of dollars.
Well, there's just like this was a way bigger thing, and they're like I feel like they treated steroids.
Of lives.
Yeah, and they treated steroids in baseball as like a bigger issue. Anyway, Zach, I gotta let you go. We gotta wrap this bad boy up. Appreciate you calling in.
All right, bye.
Take care, Zach. Everybody. All right. Should we take one more call? This guy keeps on trying to call. Okay, we're gonna take one more call. One more call. Last call of the night. Who am I speaking with?
Speaking with John. From Cali.
How you doing, John? From
Newport
Cali.
Beach.
Newport Beach. How you doing, sir?
How's it going, man? I'm a big fan, actually. You and Ryan, you guys both rock. The skits
thanks,
have been good for years.
Appreciate it.
So, dude, I was the guy in the chat. I was dealing with my kid, and I typed the Kalergi pan. He mispronounced it. I was like, geez. I re-listened to it. I'm like, oh, my God. What did he call it?
I was looking it up, and it kept trying to send me to like something in Calgary. The way I was
I get the immigration thing. Like I worked in agriculture, so like I've seen the whole game. Yes, there's a big faction that wants mass immigration, and the guy made some good points, but he didn't seem like he was talking about it. But I really want to talk to you about. I can give you some info on the rigged NFL.
Yes, let's do it, please. Let's go.
All right. I can give you some nicer, little lighter talk.
Okay.
But look into it a little more. I will say that. Look into it a little more.
Okay.
So the NFL made a decision in the 80s. So the FBI used to investigate professional sports. And I'm sure you've heard this from this guy, the book that guy had talked about. I've read a couple of these books.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I'll leave it with this. I'll keep it short. The NFL, they hired all the people that were investigating them in the 80s that worked for the FBI to come work for them. And there was never another investigation into a fixed game after that day.
Right. But again, like, I don't think the players are fixing it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think
they're taking dives. So, like, I don't think every player is. I think that you can get a player to. I played sports. You can get a player. Point shaving. I know about Boston College. You can go back and look at all the history. There's been point shaving.
I think it's more the money that they're making, and like it would be difficult. But I do think with because I know with betting and stuff, like if a lot of wagers start coming in on a certain outcome, like instantly they have all these like flags going off, being like something's going on.
Legal. They're about to legalize it in California. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying, right? Right, but they're like if something like weird bets start happening because there's some sort of inside information. Like it's not like it used to be where you could just go place bets in cash and like now it's all everything's online.
You're right.
They know, but if you're the NFL, like the NFL added to the value of the National Football League as a business, like with this whole Taylor Swift Kansas City thing. And all they need to do is just tell the refs, you're like, the refs just need to kind of like lean a certain way, not even like explicitly, like again, because refs make mistakes. That's just part of the game.
So exactly. So I was gonna let you finish, but yes. So the way I would describe it is massaging a game.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't care about the outcome. They care about they kind of care about. There is storylines they care about because it. Like I'll give you an example. And I don't want to be long-winded, but I'm a Sacramento Kings fan.
Yep.
And I hate the Lakers. Oh, I hate them. But they played in 2001.
Big shot, Bob.
2002, and the Kings were a way better team. And in Game 6, the Lakers got. Oh, you can go back and watch it. It's on YouTube. It makes me cry if I go back and watch it. But that's a long time ago when I was a kid and I cared about.
That was with Robert Horry, right?
Yeah. Oh, that was one game. Yeah, that's just one game. Game 6 is the one to watch. Game 6, they rigged that game. That wasn't over at Robert Horry. That would have ended it right there if he didn't make that shot, but it wasn't over. Game 6 is the one to watch. It's completely rigged. It's ridiculous to even watch it. You watch the refs, and it's just pathetic.
Yeah. And again, it's just like the league probably as an entity, because everybody thinks that all the teams are playing against each other, right? Like you go, yeah, they're playing, but they're partners in this business. Like the Kings,
owners,
like the Kings and the Lakers,
profit sharing,
are actual partners in this larger business. They're not as much as they're.
But the Maluk brothers were not in. So there's different levels of ownership. So there's the top owners that there's different tiers of how much you're in on the actual the Ponzi
like
on
majority,
the actual game.
Yeah.
So like the Kings are Sacramento. So this is what I was going to say, and I'll end it with this. So would you think about this? It was going to be the New Jersey Nets had already made it.
Mm-hmm.
New Jersey Nets. Nobody wanted, and then it was going to be the Sacramento Kings versus the New Jersey Nets when the NBA was on a down. They were not in a good place back then.
Yeah.
And it was going to be either the Lakers against the New Jersey Nets and Shaq and Kobe, or the Sacramento Kings against the New Jersey Nets.
Which is what, like
Look
Chris
at baseball
Webber
last year.
Which was what, Chris Webber and like
Chris Webber, Jason Williams, Pedro Stojakovic. Yeah. Vlade
Divac, but no Kobe, no Kobe and Shaq.
Yeah, that's the big. It's a difference of like $1 billion in revenue is what they're looking at. It's not the names.
I know.
So there you go. I'll leave it with that. I've been long-winded.
I mean, I agree with you. Like they think about the business more than anything, and that's why those commissioners make so much money. And everybody's like, oh, everybody hates like David Stern,
and they don't do anything.
Well, they do. They're
they're bag men.
But they're the ones who are like presiding over this insane.
They're who everyone gets mad at. They're the president that everyone gets mad at to take the heat off of the people that are making the decisions.
Yeah, but they're the ones who are like making this fucking huge amounts of money.
That's why they get paid a lot of money.
Yeah, exactly. All right, thanks, man.
Love you, brother. Take care.
Okay, just because it's Joe the lawyer is going to be the last call, and don't tell me anything about Jewish nepotism. Joe the lawyer. I said the last call was going to be the last call. People's conspiracy brains are going to start popping off that saying I give preferential treatment to the Jews.
Yeah, well, I mean, you probably do.
I don't think so. But
anyway,
I just wanted to hear it from you because we were talking about all this Jew-related stuff earlier on. I thought you could illuminate, shine some light on.
Well, I missed the first half.
Oh, okay. We were talking about that. Someone called in asking about the Metzitzah thing, and I used to do a joke about it, but I don't really know what degree of people are doing this.
So it is a thing. I would say that a majority of them probably don't do it anymore. It used to be much more common until there was an issue where someone gave
herpes.
A bunch of kids. Yeah, herpes.
Yeah.
So now it's a tradition, but now what people do is they use a glass tube instead, where they just suck out a drop of blood with a glass tube, and that's it.
Okay, well, that seems more sanitary, I guess.
Yeah.
What sects of Judaism are even doing this though? Because this isn't just.
I would say the vast majority of Orthodox Jews.
In New York, though?
Yes.
In New York.
No, you're talking about like we do it without the tube. So then it's really just the Hasidic ones, and maybe a few of the.
But like, are Orthodox Jews in Montreal doing this as well?
So really, what it comes down to, most people don't know what's going on. You're not really looking at it. You're not yet like when. I've had my own kid have a birth. I don't see I don't want to look. It's just the mile does what the mile does, and most people aren't aware of if anything happens.
Right.
Even like the parents involved.
Okay.
So, but I would say like
I'd want to know though if when kids are getting herpes, don't you think that's a reasonable question to start asking?
Right. So that's why they nowadays it's very like I will ask. Or a lot of times even the male will ask, so do you want me to do it the old-fashioned way? They're like, no, and just use the glass tube. Like, okay.
Yeah. And so they've been doing that for thousands of years, huh?
Yeah, but I think it's really more of like a healing sort of thing. Like, oh, the blood, and then you stop it with sucking like the wound. It's been like a thing since forever.
Like it's like kind of kissing the boo-boo.
Yeah, I guess.
Ugh.
There's nothing sexual about it.
Yeah, I know that, but I know it's not for the rabbi's sake, but yeah, it's yeah, we could do away with that one, that's for sure.
Yeah. I want to talk to you actually about a couple stuff. First of all, the person called about the McDonald's thing.
Yeah.
So what happened over there in that case was McDonald's was warned multiple times not to have it that hot. They purposely made it much hotter than it was allowed to be.
Right.
Because they were doing free refills. They wanted people to take their time having it. And then, you're not going to have time to do it. So they were doing this all on purpose. So that's why there was this massive judgment against them. And it wasn't for the injuries. This was punitive damages.
Right. Yeah, I know it's punitive, right? How much when a punitive damage like that gets paid? How much of that actually ends up getting paid? Because I know that like America's the only place where they have these like insane numbers.
So they do have the insane numbers, but they never end up getting paid because, first of all, they can appeal. They always appeal this, and generally the court will decide this is unreasonable, and they will lower the amount. On top of that, during the appeal process, everyone will just end up settling. It's usually going to be it's usually lower the amount. No one wants to go through an appeal. No one wants to risk it. So they just end up settling for something significantly less than that, like probably I would say like half of what that is. That's why I don't think that Trump is actually going to end up being on the hook for, however many $80 million or whatever it was.
Right, 83 million. Yeah, and it's funny actually because the way they dinged him is it's like I guess related to his grossing up essentially his real estate. They go, well, if you got so much money, what's $83 million? Like the way that they did it, they go, well, you're a billionaire. What's $83 million?
But even that, you're saying, he said that he had so much money, back then. Who's to say what his finances are now before he became president and everyone boycotted him? And
right.
You're reaching back to something that happened 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Most people's finances don't stay the same. And another thing I wanted to talk to you about was you run another podcast where you're talking about you went to see a Broadway show and they changed the ending.
Yeah, it was Some Like It Hot. The movie Some Like It Hot, the hit 1959 comedy with Jack Lemmon and Tony Curtis. And in the movie, Jack Lemmon, they basically witness a mob murder, these two singers. And so they pretend to be women to get away from the mob, and they're like on the run. And then the Jack Lemmon's character falls in love with this like kind of gayish guy. And then the movie ends with him pulling off the wig, being like, I'm a man. And the guy's like, nobody's perfect. And because he's like in love with him and doesn't realize it's a man. But then in the play, they make the character just trans. And they go, character's like, I guess I was always a woman.
So Broadway has a history of doing that. They actually changed the ending to the Fiddler on the Roof.
Okay.
I don't know if you've ever seen it.
I've seen Fiddler on the Roof when I was like a little kid. I do not remember how it ends though.
Okay, so basically, it's each one of Tavia's daughters. Like the first one, doesn't get married through a matchmaker. Falls in love with this guy, whatever is Taylor, and Tavia lets the daughter like, okay, sure, you can marry him. Then the next daughter ends up falling in love with this guy's the masculine, this atheist communist.
Okay.
And he's Jewish. So he's like, okay, fine, whatever. The guy's talking about how he wants to, overthrow the czar and whatever. But I'm sure that's gonna end well.
Okay, like a bullshit.
And then, and then the next daughter ends up marrying a guy, and then he's like he cuts her out of his life, and
that's the original. That's the original.
No. That happens in the play. And then
at
the end, when they all get kicked out of Anatoska, you have the guy show up, the guy and daughter, and he's like, I'm also going to leave. I can't stay here where they're so anti-Semitic. So I'm going to leave in solidarity with you. And then he ends up like accepting them back. The daughter back, and that's not at all what happens in the original book. And there was actually a movie that came out back in 1939 in Yiddish, which I've seen. And the way that one ends is it shows she Chava marries the guy, and then the guy's family treats her like garbage, is constantly talking about how much they hate Jews and how terrible it is when the Jews are getting kicked out. They're talking about how they're going to take all their stuff. And then
I don't know why I find that.
And then she goes back to her father, and and she runs away from her husband. She's like, listen, I'm sorry. You were right. The Goyim are all terrible. take me back. I never really stopped being Jewish. And then he takes her back, which in the movie, in the play, in the original book, it ends where he's like, what would you do? Would you take your kid back? I don't know. Like
crazy.
But
kind of like Krusty the Clown's dad.
Yeah, I guess. This was 1939 when it came out. Also, you have to think about like what was going on in the world then.
Yeah.
But it's just funny when they were then doing making it into a Broadway show. They're like, well, most of our audience is going to be non-Jews. We don't want to.
Yeah. That's smart business, as they say. All right, Joe, I gotta let you go. We're way over time, but appreciate you.
Sorry.
That's all good. No, it's all good. Thanks, Joe.
Take care. Bye.
All right, that's been the show. I did not know that. We learned stuff about the Fiddler on the Roof, people. Joe's throwing around the G word. That's just the word, guys. Go watch Ari Shafir's special Jew. It is hilarious, though. Go watch Ari's segment on that. It is quite funny. Okay, that's been the show. Our once a month open lines. Honestly, these are super fun. We're never going to stop these. Not for the rest of the world. As mentioned earlier. Okay, so tomorrow night, new episode of The Bathhouse, 10:30 p.m. As mentioned earlier, though, if you missed this live, this stream is going to be going private right when this ends. You'll be able to watch the replay if you are a patron or a YouTube member. Otherwise, it'll be out on Thursday afternoon, and it's mostly just because YouTube is requiring this based on their algorithm. It's the only way I can do it. They're just penalizing live streams so much relative to posting videos. So that's what has to happen. Otherwise, we'll have a new show, or you'll be able to, if you missed it or you're just catching the end of it, whatever, you'll be able to catch the whole thing Thursday afternoon. All right, I'm out of breath. We went long. Well, extra 15 minutes for free, courtesy of Joe the Lawyer. 2 Jews giving you free content. Look at that. All right. Good night, everybody. Will I make online friends if I join the Low Value Mail Patreon? You will. We have quite a fun little community here. But honestly, just if you want to support the show because you like the show and you want the show to be longer, that is the best reason to do so that I can get a producer. Possibly John Steele, actually. He lives not far from here, and I've spoken to him, but I've said enough. All right, good night, everybody. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Really a poet, you know it, all my shit heroic. Empathic abilities, yeah, my pace be also stoic. Bleep, blow up, nigga, that just means I'm working. They see me as a leader, so that's why I'm Captain Kirkin. These tracks from the stars, that much is for certain. You can fit this hit if you up or if you hurt. I'm raising my stock, not talking my feet in some Birkin. Number Johnny 5, got a fucking short circuit. Bring the track to life when I spit phenomenal. When I hit, she feel that shit in her abdominals. These rappers make me laugh like comic view, they comic through. You know I got a ball out, I hit the track running just like Sonic do. They don't wanna turn on my light switch. Yeah, they was trying to get me on my hype shit. Yeah, they don't wanna turn on my light switch. Yeah, and they tried to down me on some KO type shit. Yeah, they don't wanna turn on my light switch. Yeah, now we pulling up fresh on some flight shit. Ha. They don't wanna turn on my light switch. Yeah, they don't wanna turn on my light switch. They don't wanna turn on my light switch. Yeah, they was trying to get me on my hype shit. Yeah, they don't wanna turn on my light switch. Yeah, and they tried to down me on some KO type shit. Yeah, they don't wanna turn on my light switch. Yeah, now we pulling up fresh on some flight shit. Ha.